All right. We are live with my man Ben Robertson, and then Eric Crocker will join us in a little bit. Oh shit! I got some feedback going on. All right, we're already having tech issues, man. I mean, we literally just got started. Ben, how you doing, my man? What'd you think of this weekend's games? They were so, huh?
They were okay. There was one or two good ones, kind of came down to the finish. No, it was an awesome weekend of football. Great teams going at it. There's some really good game management, clock management, end of game, end of half scenarios that came up. So many things to watch, learn, think about your schemes, how you would play them. Maybe you're missing a scheme for an end of half, end of game situation.
Oh my god.
And like it's funny because how often? You've coached for a million years. How often are those schemes just kind of overlooked? Not only in what you've got in the playbook, but then how often you actually rep them, talk about them with the players. But it just goes to show like Buffalo should be playing in the AFC Championship game, but they mishandled the end of the game, both on the kickoff and with their defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they're sitting at home instead of getting ready to play the AFC Championship game. I mean that's a heartbreaker. So you know it's there were some great scenarios that came up, some great end of game stuff. Do I have enough defense? Do I have the calls? Do my guys know exactly what to do in this situation? Do we have we repped it enough week by week? Do we know, and like sometimes you break a team down and you do a 4 or 6 game breakdown, and you might get like no end of game scenarios, right? You might not ever see them in that situation. And so you've got to go back to all the rest of the games. You've got to go follow that coordinator like the previous year. What did he do? You've got to do some really good research to find what you're going to get. But I mean, certainly you throw a touchdown pass with 13 seconds left in the game. If you're the Bills, you think you've won it. You're going to go to the AFC Championship game. You got to not get a kick run back for a touchdown and not let a Hail Mary go over your head, and you win the game. And they somehow managed to lose. So some awesome games. I mean, certainly the Tampa Bay game. My man's calling zero pressure when the other team doesn't have any timeouts. That was wild. I don't know about that. Certainly, I'm not trying to second guess Todd Bowles. He's one of the best defensive coaches there ever has been. But that call confused me a little bit. Um, you know, I, the Bengals game. My man just wins in 2 man. You know, um, the corner was bad off the line. That's not how you play 2 man. But um, awesome football this weekend. It kind of feels like the Bills Chiefs was like the Super Bowl. Like those are probably the two best teams in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was probably the best game you'll see all year. Obviously the Super Bowl, someone will get the Lombardi, but awesome game. Patrick Mahomes is insane. His ability to communicate. I think probably now we've all seen the mic'd up stuff between him and Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, and that was all kind of improvised there. Travis saw how they were playing it, and they were able to communicate in the sideline, and then Pat's telling him before the play like, "Hey, go ahead and do it." That's such high level ball there. Just the communication, players understanding what the problem is, how to solve it themselves on the field, not being coached. I mean, that really speaks to how professional those guys really are and how much they understand the game and how high their football IQ is. So that was awesome from a coaching standpoint to see that. And so yeah, great weekend, awesome weekend of football.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff. And one of the things that we talk about a lot on the Make Defense Great Again podcast, we've talked about it a lot, but I talked about it recently. I did an episode with Brian Vaughn. We were talking about end of the year South Scout. I did an episode with Ron Roberts and DJ Elliott. And back in August, I don't remember exactly when we released them. I'd recorded them in July, but then I got sick with COVID. And then I came home from the hospital with a computer I turned it on and I got the Apple equivalent of the blue screen of death. So I had to wait. So I don't even remember. That whole period was a blur. But when we talked about this, like, one of the hardest things about football is, especially at the NFL level, is there are situations that can completely change a game. And you don't have a lot of practice time. And like I go round and round with this every year about red zone defense. You know, how many snaps are you really playing in the low red zone every week? It's one of the most important areas in the field, but you also have to, you also got to win first and second down. And that's something with the occasion you struggle with. Like if you take a game, and I've said this now since like the 7th or 8th year running that I wanted to study this, is like how important is Hail Mary defense? Really important, but how many times do you truly see a Hail Mary? In fact, it's funny because when you go to Alabama, and if you see their installs, when they talk about special situations, they list the ones from the previous year and whether they were successful or not. So when they install their Hail Mary defense, there's a page that'll say like 2018 LSU. I'm making this up, by the way. LSU, or the situation. LSU Game 9 Hail Mary. And then they'll go back 3 years. And it'll be like 3 times, 4 times. But you have to practice this because it's so important. And there's so many little situations. That's why I always say, and I know that people have feelings about Mike Lombardi because of some of the stuff that he said, about analytics and things. But like, he was always talking about Belichick and Parcells and how they manage the end of games and how they manage critical situations. And that is, and I think, and he's made this point, and I'm completely stealing this. I'm not really stealing it. I'm going to attribute it to him. But he talks about how the NFL is a bunch of subcontractors. And that, like, he used to say John Gruden was the $100 million offensive coordinator. But he had nothing to do with the defense until it didn't work. And then, of course, you're an asshole and you're fired. And so, by the way, the penguin blanket has made its return over my shoulder. It's very important.
My daughter's got
part of the fabric of the I hate calling this a show. I don't know what the fuck this is. We'll figure it out one day. And you saw some of that this week where guys, I felt like there was a disconnect between the head guy and the special teams, the situational play. Football is all a game of situations. That's why when I coached high school football, I fucking hated when they banned it in a lot of states, but like in California, we used to have these summer camps. And we'd go and we'd have a team session, and it'd be 10 minutes, 1st and 10 in the middle of the field every play. That's how football's played. Football's situational. 3rd and 3 is different than 3rd and 7. A 2-minute drive at the end of a half is different than 2-minute drive at the end of a game. 2-minute drive needing a field goal to win is different than 2-minute drive needing a touchdown. 2-minute drive with no timeouts is different than 3 timeouts, even in college when the clock stops. And there's so many variations, and the best coaches are able to understand all of these situations, how important they are, and practice it where when you get into them, it's like automatic. And I saw this weekend where guys, just because you're a good coordinator doesn't mean you make a good head coach. I would not make a good head coach. And I knew that about myself, and I understood my limitations, and that's why I was a head coach of a semi-pro team for a year, and Stephen Lowe was my offensive coordinator, and I was the defensive coordinator. It was so much fun. But besides that, whatever the hell you want to call that, like, I knew that wasn't my thing. A lot of these guys, like, and I don't mean to slander D'Amico Ryans at all. D'Amico Ryan might be the greatest head coach ever if he gets a shot, but people see him put together a game plan, like, oh, he needs a head coaching job. Putting together a defensive game plan does not make one a good head coach. Look at John Harbaugh. He was never an OC or a DC. I work for Dick Tomey, one of the best head coaches out there. He was never a coordinator on offense or defense. So and I don't want to go down some aside before we get to the game, but I saw a lot of specialized guys where the right hand wasn't talking to the left hand this weekend. And it reared its ugly head. I just read something before we started, speaking of Lombardi again. On Friday in their team meetings, they would go through the gotta have it plays. When they would watch a reel of the team, when it was nut cutting time, who were they going to go to? And it must have frustrated the shit out of him, Brady, that at the end of that game, they're just throwing the ball to Cooper Kupp and he's converting and converting and converting.
He acts like we're shocked. Like, oh my gosh, he threw it to Cooper Kupp.
It?
Like, oh my god.
So I saw a lot of guys. Football's become more specialized, especially at the NFL level. You know, when you're a high school coach, you're the DC, but you're the mental health counselor, you're the uncle, you're the older brother, you're the dad, you're the scout team OC, you're the punt team wing coach, you know. And when you get to that level and there's so many hands on deck, there's so much specialization, and you saw that time and time and time again this weekend. And that's what separates the men from the boys. Pardon the cliche. It's stupid, but like that, it's true. There's a reason why. And by the way, kudos to Andy Reid. He gets a lot of shit for clock management. That was pretty good clock management. Two
No
plays,
doubt.
13 seconds. But like you said, you know, McDermott might be an amazing defensive mind. Dayball might be. I mean, he is a great offensive mind. But somebody at some point is like, we got to squib kick this motherfucker, and they didn't, and then that happened. So, is it the special teams coach fault for not suggesting it? Maybe he did. We don't know. Maybe McDermott overrode it. We literally do not know, and nobody's gonna come out in the press and be like, well, that was me. I did that. You know, they're gonna. It's CYA. The NFL. I always say this. The second abbreviation for the NFL is CYA. That's why so many guys fail. They're worried about not making mistakes instead of making plays. And somewhere along the line, somebody's got to be like, "Hey, maybe we should squib this." And I don't mean to pick on the Bills because you saw it all over and you've seen it all over during the season. So anyway, enough bullshit from me. Let's get into the film. We got a lot of stuff to watch. So overall thoughts from the game, and I want to say this. I thought D'Amico Ryan had a hell of a plan, but I think it was a little overstated, in my opinion. I watched the game. I was paying attention, but I was also, I've got ADHD. So, and I know that I'm going to get the all-22. So I'm watching, but I'm not like watching with this fine eye because I know I'm going to get the all-22 within 24 hours and you can't see everybody. So trying to figure out the shit's crazy. I mean, you and I even had a discussion in the pre-interview or whatever you want to call it. Like, there was stuff we disagreed on, and we've had hours to prep this thing.
Yeah.
And so I kind of watched the game a little lazily, if that makes sense. I mean, I know it sounds kind of screwed up, but I'm not like sitting there staring at it every second. And everybody, the hot takes on Twitter were afterwards, oh my God, he made all these amazing adjustments. And I don't want to take anything away from him because he's awesome, but like I didn't see anything that like was like, holy shit. There was these little tweaks and these little nuances, but I think it was a good overall plan, and we will get into it. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to roll through the plays. There's plays I don't have notes on, so I'll just roll them and play them once so you guys can watch them. Usually I make a cut up of the games that I want to watch, but this time I had everything all sized up for the broadcast, and then I was like, oh, I don't want to go back and do this again, so we're just going to roll through. As I mentioned, Eric Crocker will be joining us around 9 p.m., or maybe I didn't mention this, I don't know. Eric Crocker will be joining us around 9 p.m. Eastern. He has a pod to finish up, and then he'll be joining us, Niners Extraordinaire. All right, so first play, we got 1st and 10, nickel personnel on the field. We got same side zone. It's a little interesting. The Niners are in 3 deep. You got a nub set. So they're using the receiver as like a sniffer, which I thought was interesting. All the Packers are going to do is they're going to run same side zone. So they're zoning to the side of the back instead of away from the back, which is a little different. Nothing too crazy here. Now, I want to give a shout out to Seth Galina. Pay attention to this guy all game. Anytime, and I don't mean Armstead in particular, but watch their two eyes.
Hey, Vass, we don't have the film up.
Is it not going up?
No.
There we go.
There it is.
See, it's you know, death taxes and me fucking up the film. So, one thing that you're going to notice in this game, shout out to Seth Galina, who has a TikTok now where he's doing football breakdowns, which I swear I would never do TikTok, but if Seth's going to do breakdowns, I might do them. So the Niners played a lot of 2-eye in this game, and it hurt the Packers, and you'll see it because 71, the center is having a bump combo, guys, and you're going to get run through some Warner. Not so much on this play, but so just keep an eye out. So usually with zone, you're going to zone here, you know, climb. The Packers actually zoned back to the side of the back. It's almost like duo. You know,
Yeah,
like they're like turning. It's like going. It's trying to hit back. A little different.
yeah. It's really good. And it looks like the 49ers have some awareness of this play because three, as soon as 19 gets lined up like this, three gets down in there and
Mm-hmm.
understands he's got to technically spill 19 so that the corner can crack replace
Mm-hmm.
right here. This would be so like to me, they can and you'll see this in the game. The Packers run this action, this formation numerous times in the game. I think it comes up 4 or 5 times.
I'm doing a quick check here. The film's a little slow, so I'm gonna vamp for a minute while I'm gonna make sure we don't have anything extraneous open because I don't want to start off on the wrong foot tonight with all the technology. It's a little slower than normal. I mean, it's still for live streaming. It's still pretty clean, but not exactly what I want. So I just want to make sure that I didn't get any. Let's try this again and see how it looks. It's still pretty good. Not what I've had and what we've liked, but I think my computer's slowly starting to die. All right, so we got second play. We got 11 personnel, 2nd and 6. The Niners are in nickel. We got a 3 deep here, 17. Ben noticed got a wide split here. Early on, what I noticed is the Niners. It's the thing that I saw is they played a lot of 3 deep early, like real early. Then they got out of it, and then they came back to it, and it's almost like the Packers didn't adjust them going back to 3 deep. I don't know if that makes any sense or not.
Yeah,
Also, I believe, especially when they're in base personnel, the Niners play some 4-3 stuff. When the Packers are in 12, I think that they're using some of the old double call stuff. So they're playing cover 2 to 2x2, 3 to 3x1. And you'll see where I think some of that happens. Like this, I believe if the ball snapped now, they might be in 2x2, or they might play it 2. I don't know that, though. We there's no way of knowing.
yeah,
But you see the nickel stays. So there's a lot of disguise here. So you'll see this in the next play. Pay attention to this. They're going to bump this because a lot of the times, most teams, if this guy runs over, the nickel will travel. But the Niners were trying to make man look like zone and zone like man. So you'll see the next play. You'll see what I'm talking about. But you'll see the motion. They bump it instead, which makes me think that they were checking the 3 on motion. So the nickel wasn't running. Here you can see an excellent 3-up technique by the weak hook defender, Warner.
yeah. That's really good.
The problem is on the backside of 3x1. The problem with cover 3 is you're pushing 5 over 3 to the 3 side. And this tight end, he goes vertical sometimes, but he's not a real big threat, especially if you have Agent 54 out there.
Yeah,
And I think that's also one of the reasons why. Well, no, that wouldn't have anything. Never mind. Scratch that. But so we're one-on-one on the backside.
yeah. It's man to man on the backside essentially.
Yep. And they just throw, everybody used to give Mike McCarthy shit because the only play he called was slant flat. Well, I could tell you what. LaFleur hadn't taken it out of the playbook. They ran the shit out of it. They're in too high running the shit out of it. And I'm like, guys.
Yeah, they sure did run slant flat a lot. And I've complained in weeks past about some offenses we've watched and their lack of creativity and motioning and shifting. At the beginning of this play, when it's 2x2, you don't really notice that Devontae Adams has a big old split over there. It's
No.
not really until the motion happens where you're like, oh my goodness, look how wide he is. Oh, look,
Yeah.
he ran a sweep from that alignment. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Those are simple, easy things you can do to disguise alignment and therefore also intention as an offense. This is it's a really simple play. This is like day one installs, right? Slant flat.
And it doesn't always have to be this. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
It's just a great example of how through simple things you can create good advantageous matchups for yourself.
And it doesn't have to be some like grandiose, brilliant idea either. And just motion, like simple stuff still works. Like I think sometimes we get caught up in the. I mean, sometimes all the time you get caught up in the flashy stuff. But it's simple things like that that make the difference. Okay, we got 1st and 10, new set of downs. The Niners go in their base personnel, which is a 4-3 personnel. The Packers are in 12. This is called one string. Okay? This is a concept. This is in the Soleil tree. Joe Woods, obviously now D'Amico Ryans. It's called one string. And what it is meant to do, it is meant to pre-snap look like 3 deep, but it's actually cover 1. And I believe you'll see it here. If it's not this play, it's coming soon. You'll see some sort of motion. So Warner here saves a huge run. Huge run.
This thing is on the safety in 2 seconds if he doesn't make an all-pro play here.
So they're trying to make it look like zone, like, oh, I'm spinning back, because basically it's a slot formation, right? So you've got curl flat, hook curl, curl flat, right? And then on motion, they're going to bump and then get this guy back. So it's lever, spill, lever, out of the fit, middle field. They're going to spin this back to now he's the lever player. He's the spill player. He's the lever player. And then he's going to come down. Actually, no, I'm sorry. They're going to keep... See, I screwed up this explanation. They're going to keep these guys intact, but they're going to push him back outside out of the fit. See, I almost had it right. I got screwed up with my own. So they're leaving the backers, and this is why they're able to do this, is they're leaving the backers alone in their run fits. So yes, he now is your curl flat player instead of your hook curl player, but with, tight end wing. Right now, that's a 3-back offense or 22 personnel look, and that guy can't go vertical. He can run a wheel, but that also mitigates some of the issue. I mean, he really didn't have any threats besides the running back coming out to him. But the point... One sec. The point of this one string call, again, is to make it look like it's zone, but it's actually man. Now, I don't really understand. I'm not that smart, I guess. I don't understand why they would pitch this instead of just handing it off. Maybe it'll make it look like toss. But here's where the problem becomes. Warner saves their ass. And I know the hot shit idea is to stack, track, and fall back now. But Warner's aggressiveness saves the Niners from getting absolutely gashed. And really, even for the guys that stack, track, and fall back, unless you're in a tight front alignment, when they're under center, you got to play downhill. So right now, Warner's going to go make this play. Okay? Get in there and make the TFL. Great job. However, if he hesitates, okay, and this is where the G, going back to the concept of the G, helps them. If this guy's in the shade, this guard, they're here, and this guard, they might be able to get up here easier and cut this off. Look what happens on the backside here with 49 coming across. If Warner doesn't make that play, let's say Warner gets caught up, he sticks his foot in the ground, he is out the gate. That is a huge play.
Defense is split right in half.
Right in half. And that's why these guys that say off-ball linebackers aren't valuable are full of shit. This in and of itself, this could have been a touchdown. Maybe not a touchdown. Maybe they track him down. But it's a big damn run.
If he makes the post player miss, he's gone. There's no one's going to catch him.
And speaking of motion, I mean, this guy is running away from where they're trying to run the ball.
Yeah, this is a great play versus cover 1 or cover 3 because there's so many moving parts no matter how you're trying to adjust it. Mm-hmm. If, 51, 54, and 57 are all tied to a string here on 49. And so, like, the backer to me who's wrong, the worst is 51. He's bumping back into the box.
Yeah. How this should
motion grabs his eyes. Doesn't see 49 coming back to him. He doesn't fall back. So the defense gets split here. Because 49 kicks out the end, 77 pins 51. They're in deep crap here if he doesn't make this play. This thing's on the safety in a heartbeat. So, like, this is a great play to use to attack cover 1, cover 3, the single high schemes. And if Warner doesn't make this play, it's one-on-one with a – I mean, you're talking – I mean, you know how athletic these safeties in the NFL are. but you're talking about a one-on-one head-up tackle, two-way go in space. That's a low percentage play. And if you don't make that play as the safety, that guy's hitting his head on the goalpost.
Right. This is how it should fit. This guy should pull in the A. This guy should fall back in the B. And then he should hit this fast. And some teams, what they're doing is they're seeing so much of these boot plays and things. Now, 49's not a huge boot threat. But for teams that are seeing this, what you're starting to see, especially tight front teams that play some 4 down, is they're letting their ends in college, they're letting their ends take this guy back. And since he's supposed to be a fast fit, let him go rush if it's play action.
Yeah.
Just some I'll keep who mechanism. Does that nameless. If you follow me, you should probably be able to figure it out. But yeah, 51 screws this whole thing up, and it's. I mean, I hate to pick on somebody, and this is not. We're not here to be super critical, but I also want to teach you good defense. To sit here and be like, wow, look at this play. Wow, look at that play. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Like that, you're not getting anything out of that besides cheerleading. And that's not why we're here. Yeah, Warner saves the freaking day. That's almost horrible.
Yeah.
Now pitch it. Why do you think they pitch that?
You know what? All right, so Mike.
You think it's so it can cut back faster?
That's a good point. Mike McDonald, the run game corner for the 49ers, that's something they do.
You mean Dante Barty Sr.?
Yeah, no doubt. Those are brothers from a different mother, that's for sure. So the he was talking about, and basically what I thought he was kind of hinting at was that when you're a linebacker, a lot of these linebackers are keying the path of the back, right? So they're going to key this first step of the back, and if he's wide, they're going to be wide too, right? They're going to match his demeanor. If he's downhill, they'll be downhill, right? And so if you play that way as a backer, right, where does the toss play end up 99% of the time? Out wide, right? And they're going to run some crack toss later, right? So here they're tossing it, but it's not an outside play. It's an inside zone play, right? But I think they're setting up the crack toss later. So here they're going to give them a toss action, but it's inside zone. So they've got no reason to get wide, right? And then later they're going to come back and run crack toss. Well, now they're giving them the same toss action, but now it is the outside play, and they're getting cracked. So I don't know if that was part of the run game built in, but I think it's got something to do with you're trying to get these linebackers to fast flow play side when they see the ball get tossed and instinctually think this is going to be some kind of outside play. And then all of a sudden it's not. It's split zone. The ball's trying to wind back off the backside. And if 54 don't make an unbelievable play here, this thing's out the gate.
And it's interesting because it actually, if that is the case, it has its effect because this guy, they should be making back calls, right? Most defenses, we would say back. So we pull everything back.
Yep.
Now, because of this is my bias, is I would spill the ever living shit out of this and let this guy play out here. But that's
how I've always done it too, is spill the guy and let the backer play out wide.
That's a big asshole.
That's a big asshole.
And it's against linebacker nature, right? Like you see this A gap open up.
Yeah. How do you tell a linebacker who's got when the window opens, everything inside of him is telling him to go trigger, go downhill and make this play.
Yeah. All right, next play. So here's the issue here. The Niners do this a lot, and it's a problem. Okay, and I feel bad because we're talking about how great they are. Don't worry, there's a lot of great shit on here. But they did have problems early, and this is one of them. So one of the things that the Niners do is they play quarters. They play quarter, half. Okay? But they don't poach the backside, which I guess that's part of quarter half.
You can in quarters, but you can't in quarter half.
So here's what happens. This is how it should play out. Okay? So, and this is a big thing in the NFL. How this should play is if the back is weak, you're going to play quarters and you're going to play true halves, right? Like the corner's off. Your hook defender's here. He's going to, if the back flares, because they run a lot of slant flat, he's going to work to this. He's going to play the back. He'll secure the end go or whatever. But since the back is strong, they have to lock the backside. And the reason that they have to lock the backside is if 4 is fast, this is the number 4, they have to push the coverage because they're short. And you can see here where the problem becomes. What they're doing is they're telling Warner, you have 3 vertical by yourself. So they're playing quarters. These 3 guys are playing quarters or palms, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter what the variation is. Because a palms corner, even if it's a palms corner should not be affected by number 3 or number 4. In my world, I've never done that. If 3 pushes fast, you push between these 2 cats. Same thing with 4. So what should happen here is with 3 coming out, and I know he kind of hops, and this is why he does it, because with this concept, the nickel has to take 1 back inside, right?
Yeah.
So he's screwed because he's got this guy coming in and this guy going out.
Yeah.
And because the backers don't push, there's a void. If the back blocks or if the back is on this side, how this should fit up is, let's say we're getting this, right? Warner's would stay on 3. The safety would play over the top or play 2 inside out. The corner would make a China or smash call, and he would run here. The nickel would come out and play this guy, right? We're good.
Yeah.
The problem becomes the back, he's going out. If this guy's sitting on 1, it's 1-on-2. And the way to solve this is with 4, and I know he doesn't go off the bat, but they got to push it late, is Warner should push and he should end up playing this route. The nickel should push through and leverage that route. And the backside linebacker should take 3. And because all these guys on the front side are drained out, you now have to man up the backside, right? And then you'd play over the top. They don't do that. And they get outflanked. Ball comes out. They're able to pin the nickel. That's a lot of space. You got to make one guy miss, and then you got a big play.
There's that one-on-one space, head up. I got a 2-way go tackle. That's a really hard tackle to make.
I mean, you're getting cracked in here. Great job by, I think that's Lazard. And that's your biggest problem is you get that situation. If you don't push the coverage strong, you're short. And now you have, because on defense shows going to be +1. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4. If you don't push on 1, 2, 3, 4, and now you have 1, 2, 3 on 1. That's not good. I don't give a shit how good Devontae Adams is. You can't triple team him unless you're in 3 down. Right. You're in 3 down, you can do it, but you're short, and they make him pay. And it's a simple ass combination. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But you can see where the defense being short is a problem. Let's watch the end zone real quick. The Packers are so much better in pass pro. Who did we watch the Niners against the Rams?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for a 94 sighting. He's still my favorite. Okay. Here's a screen that gets blown up. Now, this isn't necessarily, it's not a stunt. The guy takes an inside move. But this is why, if you call stunts, they're good versus screen, is because most of the time, these dudes are going to pass set, and then these guys are going to throw and go, right? Again, it's not a stunt. It's an inside move, but this is why calling stunts would be good, because you can see the end. He dips inside. He sees it. Oh, shit, he's able to retrace. This is great recognition by Warner. He sees 76, the left guard throw, the defensive tackle by, boom, he triggers. And that's the way to beat screens.
You want to be good on screens, you better trigger. Go beat the fat guys, man. Beat them. Don't wait. Don't stand there and get blocked. Go get it right now.
This is why, for all the high school coaches in here, in man coverage, we always hug rush. Like, that was the number one thing we did, because 1, you get an extra rusher, and 2. Now, I know he drops this pass, but even if he catches it, Warner just absolutely obliterates him by the time he turns around, either way.
Yeah. He's going nowhere even if he catches it. Yeah, this Warner guy, he's an unbelievable player.
Okay. We got some fire zone action, which disappears. You don't see it for a while. So these
No,
are the
you don't.
adjustments. So far, they've played some. I mean, there's nothing really out of the ordinary, but I did see them do, and the Packers do a good job of this, and you'll see a problem of it late, is they were chipping and going flat. And if you watch the whip fire zone video that I did, the weakness in fire zone coverage is 3 in the out, because whoever has to take the 3-player and trips has to take 3 vertical. Well, if you got to play somebody vertical, you got to play inside, so you're weak against the out routes. Again, the problem is on the backside of 3 deep is it plays out like man,
Yep.
and you're one-on-one.
He's just running a dig.
Not a winning business model.
You know what I was a little surprised by is the Packers run this concept at least 4 or 5 times in this game.
Yeah.
This offensive concept. And like you see that repeat plays, that's not a big deal. But like Fred, I'm pretty sure they run this at least 4 times. It might be 5 times they run this. They must have felt like they really had a play here or something, because they kept calling it.
Well, and you look at the issue here and the fire zone is
it's a big, even in 3 deep, you've got a great high low, because they're playing 2 to 1. The corner's going to be bailing, and they got this deep out route here. Which the nickel late in the game, the nickel makes an unbelievable break on a ball and gets a PBU. We'll get to that, but, but yeah, backside of fire zone is just man to man.
Yep.
I mean, there's nothing special about that.
Yep, absolutely. Plus, I don't really understand this fire zone. I guess maybe to stop the run, but I don't really understand what they're trying to get out of this. I mean, this is just a vanilla bring the safety from depth. I mean, it causes no issues to the offense.
Right. Especially versus that pass pro.
We got 1st and 10, 12 personnel. We're in the high red zone. Ball's in the 23. Niners are in base. I believe you're going to see some one string here. Again, it's hard to tell without the motion. But the Packers didn't do a good job of running the football here.
They did not.
And this is what bailed them out last year when they played the Rams. The thing with the Rams, what got them that win in the playoffs last year was Staley played too high, and he dared them to run the ball. And the Packers won that game because they were patient enough to run the football. And they stuck with it and 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 finally broke through. This game, they couldn't run the ball for shit.
Nope.
And, I mean, they run a reverse here. And I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking this, but if you're running a reverse on your opening script, you're trying to slow down the defense because you're worried about it, or you think they're undisciplined. But we've watched enough of the Niners to know it's not that they're undisciplined.
Yeah,
and then also you're going to run a reverse at Bosa. I mean, who's able to make these change of direction plays? I don't know. Maybe they thought he was hurt still or something.
And on paper, this is a really good play against one string, single high. Doesn't matter if it's 1 or 3. This is a good play. You've got 2 guys going back, and they're cracking. And I think last time we watched the 49ers defense, I commented on how well they cracked replace. There's some really good clips in this game of crack replace. Mm-hmm. But like on paper, this is a really good play, but Bosa's just too good of an athlete to run this play to his side. I mean, he sniffs this out, and some of this is like, he sees 89. He sees this guy's coming back, but he ain't coming back to take his head off. You know what I mean? You can read the demeanor of the cutter. And you can tell by his body language pretty quickly that he is not. He knows this guy's not coming to block, and this guy's coming to whiff. And as soon as he knows he knows exactly what play is coming. As soon as he reads 81's not coming to actually block me, and then he's just such a good athlete. I mean, look at that. He weighs 265 pounds.
Yeah.
That's freakishly athletic to be able to make this play.
Well, and maybe I contradicted myself here, but. Again, this is the second time we've had back blocks. I mean, I know this fullback is going, it's delayed, but you don't see the linebackers working back. So maybe they aren't as disciplined as I'm saying they are. the Niners, and you made a good comment on the film, and you'll see a good job in this, or good examples of this rather. The Niners are really good at crack replacing, so you
Yeah,
also need somebody to be shitty at crack replacing.
yeah,
Now here's my bitch about this play: let Adams be the crack replace guy, because I guarantee you, if this is Adams coming down inside, that corner would have been out here.
yeah. He's way off.
So
Yeah,
just a little tiny.
that's a great point. The corner's going to be way off
Yeah.
against
And
Adams.
you'll see later on what I'm talking
Yeah,
about when they get cut
that's a good
splits,
point.
how they react to it.
The devil's in the details, man. Those are the kind of game plan details that
Yep.
matter. That stuff matters.
All right, we got 2nd and 9, 11 personnel. The Niners are back to nickel.
High red playing quarters here.
Yeah.
This, to me, this is a little frustrating here by the nickel. I know the 49ers do not play man match quarters, like we've all talked about and, we've discussed ad nauseum. There's so much, just true zone coverage in the NFL. But to me, like, that's Devontae Adams in the slot, and you're playing quarters, and number 3's on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You've got help over the top. You don't have to carry him vertically. Win inside, bro. Win inside. Take away the short, easy slant that he can run. They can complete in their sleep.
Mm-hmm.
This to me, I don't know. This play just bothered me. You win inside. Just win inside. 3's away. It's Devontae Adams. Win inside. You've got help over the top. If they're gonna throw and catch it, make it an outbreaking route, tougher angle, longer throw, all that kind of stuff. Win inside.
My man's in. Let's go. The
Yeah,
best stance in
that's
football.
awesome. I'm here for all that.
And this is the tale as old as time when playing against quarters. Oh no, it's not letting me erase. Come on, Huddle, don't do this to me. They bring 2 back across. We had a kid, Kiro Small, who ended up being an All-American at Hartnell, and teams would do this to us. They'd go 3 weak, they'd swing him or get him out of there, get him right there, and then throw right behind it. This is as old as it gets. Well, boys and girls, I'm not going to be able to delete Telestration, so bear with me because I don't want to reload this and start this all over again. But yeah, it's just a simple option route, nothing crazy. Okay, your notes are why Saban checks Bronco, so I'll let you take that away. But I'm just gonna say, from my end, the Niners get mauled here, and I don't know why they didn't do more of this. So
Yeah,
I'm
so
gonna talk about my coaching point of just getting absolutely fucking paved, and then you can talk more delicate about the scheme. But we'll just watch the combos here. I mean, 93 splits it, so that's a good job. But watch 62. Watch the right guard and right tackle on Armstead.
they take my man here for a ride.
Oh shit! They combo up to that safety like nothing.
That's a great combo too. Holy moly!
93 is like, you mean I split all that shit and you guys got that fucking, in the film room, he's looking over at them like, what?
Yeah.
All right, talk to me about why Saban checks Bronco in this situation and what Bronco is.
Okay, so let's talk about just go back to the beginning so we can just see the formation here and talk about it. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got a 3-by-1 nub formation. Yeah, they're in a bunch, but that's not as important. Okay, you've got 3 speed guys on one side, and you've got a nub tight end backside. And the 49ers are playing cover 3 weak. So looking at it from a defensive perspective, this is nickel right. Okay, the guy with the red gloves is the nickel. Okay, and so they're going to rotate opposite the nickel. Mm-hmm. All right, so it's cover 3 weak. But this presents a problem because now you have Fred Warner, who's out of the box, out of the fit, playing the bunch right here. Okay, which really might not be a terrible thing because they're going to throw these bunches. They're going to throw this little swing route out here, and Fred Warner's probably a great guy to go out there and tackle the guy with the ball. All right, but the problem is you're now what Kyle Kogan would refer to as double rotated. Okay, so you've got your 3 technique set to the tight end side because you're playing over defense, and then you've also got safety rotation to that side. So by rule, the safety is an A gap. He has an A gap run fitter. So my man here is a 200-pound safety playing the A gap from 10 yards deep. Now 57 is trying his best to disguise this as split safety right here, because if they were really playing split safety, whether it was quarters or quarter half or cover 2, that would be about his alignment right there. So
Mm-hmm.
57 does a great job of disguising what's coming with his alignment and then moving late to where he needs to align.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, as I just said, this puts a safety in an A gap run fit from 10 yards deep. And credit to the offensive line of the Packers here. If they did not rotate here, if there was no late movement by 57 and this was split safety defense, 62 and 79 would be comboing to 57, and the center and left guard would be comboing to 54, and they would just hand this off, and it would be the zone cut play. But they react to this almost perfectly when 57 moves on the run. They I don't know if they are, obviously they're alerted to this. This is something they went over in film and I'm sure practiced. But this is a great job by the Packers offensive line moving who they're comboing to when the linebacker moves pre-snap. So 3 comes down flying into the box. He's got an A-gap fit. They combo to the right side. I think one of the reasons 93 is able to split his double is the center and the left guard are not on the same page with who the double's going to, and so I think their techniques get a little off.
Yep.
And not, but 93 is killing this guard, right? I mean, look at the position the guard's in. He can't block anybody right there.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm understating it a little bit, but fantastic job by the Packers offensive line. They get 2-on-1 on Eric Armstead, and they get him moved back, and then the back hits it straight downhill, and this poor safety's just getting run over. He makes the tackle, but he's getting run over as he does it. And so what Bronco is, I said all that. Now let's talk about what Bronco is. So to fix this problem, Saban would check Bronco. So what Bronco is saying, hey, okay, I know the call was 3 weak. Okay, I rotated away from the nickel, but versus this formation, we want to keep our linebackers in the box, and we want to change the rotation, and we want to play strong rotation now. We're going to play 3 buzz. So now the backers can stay in the box and play this run play, and the safety can come down and play over the bunch right here. He would be the strong hook player in this 3-by-1 formation. So when they check Bronco, they over 6 Bronco, over 6 bump Bronco is their call. Okay, the Bronco tag is telling them how to play this formation, this nub trips formation. The fact that they're in a bunch doesn't really matter. If they were spread out normally, you would still play this. But that's what the Bronco check is, to change our rotation from weak to strong so that the backers can stay in the box and we can play. The strong hook player will be the safety, not a linebacker. That's what check Bronco is in the Saban terminology. And this is the problem it's designed to fix.
And also take note, Nick Saban does not like 3 buzz because of the disguise issues in 3 and 4 open situations.
Yes, in 4 open, you're completely undressed.
Getting a 3 buzz, take note because it's probably a situation where it's needed.
Yep. Yeah, if you play 3 buzz versus 3 open, you are completely undressed because as soon as you get lined up and they see a 6-man box versus 4 open, they know what your rotation is going to have to be. So it does undress you, but in this case right here, it's what you have to do.
All right, this is just them getting mauled again.
Yeah, 2 in a row here. Great job, Packers offensive line, just winning up front. You want to run the ball, you got to win up front. They got their big back end, A.J. Dillon, big old boy. Here again is 19. I know that this is a quasi bunch, but he kind of motions in to try to insert himself into the C gap. Great run fit. The 49ers here are playing like this is cover 1, and they're using the post player to double Devontae Adams. He tries to get into the fit late, but it's just too late. He doesn't get there in time.
And they also get their fucking ass kicked. I mean, and this is the shit that bothers me about the NFL. Okay. You've got a 3 technique and a 9 technique here, and you have these 2 cats in here, and you have a DB in here having to fit this, whatever the fuck this is. And like, it's just, you're going to get your ass kicked. Like, that's just, the Niners are also in nickel. And I understand the Packers they're in 11, so you got to be in nickel, but it's just.
Yeah, I mean,
but this is big boy football now. I mean, now look at this double team on the G, but Armstead gets his ass kicked again.
Yep.
He's high. He false steps. He's like stepping in place. He's not gaining any ground. His eyes. Here's the thing about D-line play. Okay. Steve Jacoby from De La Salle taught me this. When you ask a kid, D-line play, did you do your job? Because when you tell somebody stay low, well, what does that mean? What is low? So his whole thing is where your eyes below his eyes and where your hands above your eyes. No and no. Eyes, hands down here, getting your fucking ass kicked. And this is all this is. Yeah, you get the safety fitting in there. I 100% agree. And on all those, they're trying to double Devontae. But this is big boy ball now. You know what the difference in the second half is? You know what the second half adjustment was? When they started running shit like this, they weren't getting their fucking ass kicked up front.
Yep.
That's what the adjustment was, to be honest with you. Now, I had a question in the chat. See if I can get this right. Oh, we got the high-tech shit going now. Look out, boys. As an offensive line coach, an offensive coach learning fits with the original week rotation. So let's go back to this last play. Is this a situation where you can cut the front up and spike the 3 in the B gap? Yeah, and that's what I would want to do in this situation is get this here. But the problem with this nub is you also don't want to get yourself in a situation where you have a G and a 9 because that's what you're going to end up having. And that can be a problem. One of the things I don't like about how they line up to this is my man here is a corner and he is in conflict. Now, I know the back is to him, so he's not going to get immediate run threat. But let's say the back was over here. He would have to be the force player and take the tight end man-to-man. Not loving that. But that's the problem. And that's why this formation is one of the hardest to defend because somebody's in conflict, somebody's screwed. So the answer to your question is yes, but I don't think that would solve any problems, Ryan, if that makes sense. But it would help with him not having to play an A-gap. And that's why if for some reason Bama is setting their 3 to the field and they're playing Sky, or setting their 3 to the boundary, and this is why they don't set their 3 to the boundary in trips, is because that safety doesn't have an A-gap. And that's what Brandon Staley did last year that was so, not revolutionary, but so crazy, was that, you know, they were having safeties play A-gaps as their base, but the difference was these guys were covered, right? So these dudes are covered up. You got a backer. Let's say the back is here, right? So the backer would be out here. I'm sorry. So against this formation, let's say it was 3 open. Let me get this in a position where we can redraw. So let's say the back is here. And this is what the tight front allows you to do. And this is why so many people kind of answering your question and not answering your question. This is why so many people like the tight front against zone is you put the corner in here, but you set a hard edge, 3x1 open, the backers are out of the box, or you have your money backer here. Your safety can insert in the A gap, but Aaron Donald is this guy. So if you want to run the ball in the zone, he may throw back in here, and now you're fitting in here with 2 guys rather than 1. What I don't like about spiking the B gap here is now you have an open B, and even though he's playing tight outside, and you could play a 9 jam 7. 9 jam 7 means I'm going to play outside, but if I get a base, I'm going to rip inside. Now you got to make your corner tackle A.J. Dillon in space. So it's one of these things that's like, it sucks. Anyway.
Yep.
All right. So that was a touchdown. Okay. So I have for my notes here, NAWBM. Can anybody tell me what that means in the chat? What do you think NAWBM means?
That's funny. I was going to ask you because I don't know what it means either.
We'll see. We'll see if anybody gets it in the chat. I know one of y'all will. Okay, tight front alert. We're in 4-3 personnel. So now they've walked up their 4th line. So how they're doing it is they're Will, they're Sam, and a lot of the times in the NFL and today, let me take Ryan's. See, I'm learning this stuff. I'm learning. I had to take the comment off. A lot of the times in the NFL, there is no Sam and Will now. It's worth the paper it's written on. Meaning, the shit changes based on motion. Who's the Sam? Who's the Mike? Who's the Will? It's just a way to communicate who's where. But there's no like prototype with all the nickels and stuff. Like, you know, it could change. But what they're doing is they're kicking their front weak, or kicking their front strong rather. They're moving guys over, and they're bringing this guy down. Here's the well, no, that's not a problem. Never mind. That's not Armstead. So now you have a little RPO action. So we're going to show cover 3 to try to get them, deny this route pre-snap by alignment, and then we're going to back up and play quarters. But the problem is Rodgers knows, maybe it's by scouting report, maybe it's just dumb luck, maybe it's just guessing. They back up, there's nobody here, the corner's pressed. Maybe they're thinking they're going to deny the bubble that way. They don't. They get the ball out on the edge fast, 7-yard gain. Does anybody figured out what NAWBM means yet? A cookie for whoever gets it.
Ah, there it is.
Not a winning business model. That is correct. Ding, 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 ding. All right. My comments to this play were good blocking. Your comments were this looks off.
This, you know why? So I'm not. Yeah, this to me, something looked off here on defense. I don't know.
Let's watch the. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Crocky just hit me up. He says he's gonna be about 15 minutes late. He said he's gonna come though. He's flying through the show. I don't know what's going on here. It's not great.
So, all right. So we talked about the toss play, right?
65 toss power trap. Yeah, I need that on my soundboard. 65 toss power trap. Now I have this. Oh, that didn't.
So here's the crack toss.
Hey now.
Yeah, that's just getting your ass kicked.
Yeah. So here's the crack toss. One of the issues you have with playing
the linebackers on slid.
Yeah, so it's 3-by-1, and this is weak rotation, right? Here comes number 1. To me, the backers are misaligned. I don't know if they're confused about where the rotation is going to happen.
I think they're trying to disguise it, and they get caught because 57, I don't know what's going on, but
okay. So here's my comment. All right, so 57 looks like he's blitzing to me, right? Because 91. All right, the G, he steps out into this B gap, right? So
I got you. So they're trying to play fill and fold. So they're trying to do this. They're trying to hit this because they know that these guys they've been lateral on the combo. So I get what they're trying to do. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I guess I didn't read this as fill and fold because
I think that's what they're trying to do, but they toss it.
So like 90's doing the
because
same
this would
thing.
be sorry to cut you off, but this would be a great play if it was zone cut. That's a good play, right? They're here. They're here. He steps out. He blitzes in here. He folds back on the back. If the ball somehow gets all the way the hell out here, he can make the. I mean, that's a good blitz. But the problem is, this is why you have to slide your backers. It should be this. This should be the will. There should be the Mike. There should be the nickel. The Mike has this gap. The nickel has this gap. The corner cracker places out here. Safety's down here.
Yeah. And so, like, normally when you see fill and fold, it's played with cover one.
We got problems. We got problems going on over here now. All right, there we go.
Uh-oh. So, like, normally when you see fill and fold, it's played as cover one because technically one of these backers is blitzing, right? So
I'm just going to skip replaying it. I'm having some issues with that play. So go ahead and talk.
So this is what confused me about the play. Normally when you see fill and fold, it's cover one. It's cover one because the first backer who's going is really a blitzer, right? Because if it's pass, he's just going to continue on and it's going to turn into a 5-man rush. And then the other backer, the straight backer, whatever you want to call him, he could either continue to blitz, he could be the rat. And then normally you see like what I would call Y rotation. 3-by-1, you would get strong rotation. 2-by-2, you would get weak rotation. And it just plays as cover one, right? That's not hard.
Yep.
But they're in the backers are in like man alignment, like they're expecting strong rotation, but they get weak rotation here, which like in the Saban world would be cover 9, right? Weak rotated cover 1. But if that was true, then 54 would have had to have been bossed over to the 3-by-1 because then by rule he would have been responsible for the tight end in man-to-man. But he certainly wasn't aligned in any kind of man-to-man look. So there was just a lot going on there. I don't know. Maybe there was some kind of check like, a formational check that some guys got, some guys didn't get, and so it looked confusing to me. Because I don't know, there was just a
Yeah.
lot going on there, and it seemed like it didn't all quite fit together. So I was just a little confused by that one.
And that does happen. By the way, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications. We're rolling this every Tuesday. Well, I guess only a couple Tuesdays left. We'll see how the playoffs go. Maybe next week we do both games on Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe next week we do one game the first Tuesday and one game the second Tuesday, although I don't know how many people are going to be excited about a breakdown 9 days later. We'll see how it goes. We'll probably maybe do some off-season stuff. I know at one point we will do the TCU Rose Bowl game from 2011 for my high school and college guys. And we're going to have somebody joining us that was on that staff, and as well as hopefully Nate Tice, who was a quarterback on that team. That'll be a fun one. So if you're new here, welcome. We're glad to have you, and we're glad that so many people are excited about learning some balls. So let's get back into it, man.
Let's get into it, man.
I got the sound now. I'm messing with the soundboard. All right. This is a missed opportunity by Throw Rogan here. We got 3 deep coverage week. I liked Rush Lambeau too. I didn't get the Unitas one. I forget the one, but because it didn't even sound like Johnny Unitas. It was like something. Ivermectin Unitas or something. It was kind of weird. By the way, we're just having fun. Please don't get upset. Like, we're having a little fun. Like, I don't want anybody being like, liberal cuck bastard. Like, we're having a good time. All right. So, this is a missed opportunity by here. The flash fake holds the linebackers. Okay. Now, this is why. Actually, I don't think this is Warner's fault. Well, no, because he's the weak hook player. Because we got the backs both go weak. So you got one out, one over here. This is why teams like Georgia will play a 3-up player even in 2x2. So what should happen here in my world, and I don't know if D'Amico teaches this, Coach Ryan teaches this, but in my world here, when he sees the backs go weak and it's play action, Warner should robot and take 2 up, 2 weak up. That's how I would teach it. When we did 3D, that's how I taught it. Now, a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
But Kogan always talks about this as, you know, cover 3 is a 2-level defense. Well, you have to unlock it if you're going to play 3-level routes.
Yeah.
It's Y cross. Rodgers
Y
has
cross.
to see that. This is on Aaron. He's looking right at it. He's got it.
This is a completion all day. He's got it. It's open.
He's got it. He comes off. He holds it. He gets the check down. Now they get 9 yards and they get a first, or they get it down to 2nd and 1. But that was a high-low.
This is a cool little. This is a cool little play here on offense.
Watch his stripe. That's why I love guys with striped helmets, because you see where they're looking. I don't know why he comes off of this. Because Warner is kind of hopping around and shit. He comes off too early. He gets the ball. This is, I mean, it's good and bad, because if you're a fast processor, some guys would have hold that and maybe got sacked. And also, one thing you do have to keep in mind, and I'm going to give Mr. Rogan here the benefit of the doubt. These guys have been gold-nutted studs lately. So he's internal clock. He doesn't have Bakhtiari, Sarah Padre. Shout out to the Sarah, one of the great Sarah Padres of all time. But these guys have been kicking ass. And up until this point, they haven't really done much in the game.
Not yet.
Until this point.
But their reputation of being a great 4-man rush might get him to throw this ball to the check down instead of hanging in there and letting it fly to the Y cross.
Right.
You know, the reputation of the rush is this is good pass pro. Look at this. Like,
very good.
In the NFL, that's really good pass pro. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. It just seems like that's a ball Rodgers completes 9 times out of 10 to the Y cross guy.
And then the problem, though, is if you get a guy that holds on the ball too long, maybe a guy like, a Fields, or he's the first one I thought of that can hold on to the ball. I mean, that's not a shot at Justin Fields. But also, you know what it is? I figured it out, Ben. You know why he's throwing this so quick?
Why?
That guy. He saw that stance. He's like, I ain't fucking with this.
He sees the stance and says,
this ball is out.
I ain't about that.
All right, next play. My notes are LOL NFL. This is what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah, this is LOL NFL.
Okay. Let's just get to the end zone. Okay. If I lined up like this when I was at Sarah High School or Clovis High School or Hartnell College or wherever, my man here looking like he's about to run the 4x100 relay. He's starting off. And you got a G technique and a backer outside the tight end. This shit gets you fired. Turn out,
Yep.
just go get him and combo this, and then just run hit your head on the goalpost.
Yeah, if they run
They
zone
do slant,
here,
so they trick him a little bit.
Yep,
But
they do move they do spike it or whatever. Top
so
it.
they set the trap. They give the rat the cheese, but still, I had a good laugh at that one. Okay, amazing play by Warner. This is one string. It is made to look like 3 deep. It is actually cover one. They're playing this. This is something they do out of their base package. So again, you get the slingshot. Some people call it the slingshot adjustment, where the safeties are. It looks like 3 deep, because if it was one, most of the time you'd run across. So they boot. 57 bites the cheese. The Packers do a really good job of getting their tight ends out to the flat late. Really good job. They do it a lot in this game.
They do.
Gets Greenlaw 57 right here to bite the cheese. Warner sees it. Knows he's got... Now, normally you would try and robot this crosser, especially with it being Agent 17. He sees this throw and go right here. He tracks it. Fumble. Ball's out.
That's a great play, man.
Hopefully his PFF grade's high. We need that to be important. That's important that we have that. Fucking idiots.
Oh man.
Not all
Yeah,
of them
this was an awesome play.
I shouldn't say that. That's not nice. I love a lot of those guys there, but yeah, Greenlaw, give the rat the cheese. He looks like the Flintstone. This looks like the Flintstones trying to make a change of direction in their car. Yabba dabba do.
Oh shit.
Bink. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great play, man.
And then 57 gets to run to the sideline with the ball. That's bullshit. They should make him give that to somebody else. Hey, but you know what? I'll say this about him. He screws up, but you can only make a mistake going 100 miles an hour. Look at him running the ball.
Yep.
Good things happen. That ain't luck.
Nope, that ain't luck. That's good ball.
If you're gonna make a mistake, do it 100 miles an hour. What were you gonna say, my man?
You know what's funny? I had that conversation with your boy Ronnie Wheat on the field before we played Nevada last week of the season. He and I were chatting and talking about some of his backers, and he said one of them, a really talented kid. He'll make a couple mistakes, but you know what? He takes the ball away, and that's such a huge part of playing good defense in today's football is getting takeaways.
Yep.
They're like you talk about correlation and causation. What causes winning as opposed to what's correlated with winning? Mm-hmm. Takeaways cause winning. It causes you to win games. It's not something that happened. It's not a byproduct of winning. It's the cause of the win is the takeaway. And so that's a tremendous play. I wish as defensive coaches we spent more time working tackling and turnovers because they're so key, so key. Tackling and turnovers, got to do it.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so we got a little disguise action here. This is where the Niners really start to pull it together and kick some ass. I feel like that play, Warner kind of turned the tide of the game with that fumble, forced fumble. I felt like after this play, they really got their shit together. So this is really good. So to me, and we got Crocky here. All right, we're gonna try to make this happen. All right, we're going to see if we can get this going. We're going to try some magic here. I'm going to try to figure this out. Oh, shit. I got you on the wrong one. I got you where Eric is.
Uh-oh.
This is live. I'm doing this live for the first time. Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Yes, I can.
All right. Hey, man, welcome.
But I don't know. I'm looking for my Okay, I think my mic is working. I don't see the my headphone.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys clear, but I don't hear you through my headphones. I hear y'all through my my laptop.
That's good. That's good because Ecamm gets all crazy when the mic is coming through, the sound is coming through the same thing. So that's good. That's what I'm doing. Welcome, Eric. I appreciate you coming in. I know you were recording a podcast. I've been excited to do this with you for a while. I've heard such good things. Love watching your work. I know you're a Niners expert. I appreciate you. I know you rearranged some stuff to join us tonight. So we really, really appreciate you. We are 17 plays in. We'll start picking up pace. We just watched the Warner fumble. Before we get back to the film, I want to get your thoughts overall on this game, and then we'll get right back into it. I know you're a big Niners fan. You cover them. What were your takeaways from this game? And up until this point, we've watched some things, some frankly goofy shit from the Niners, and it felt like after this point that Warner forcing that fumble changed the momentum of the game. I heard a lot about the D'Amico adjustments. What did you feel that they did well after the first drive or so, and they were getting chipped at a little bit, where they really locked it down?
I thought it was more so the players kind of tightening down. There's a player early on where you see Armstead just bully the right guard right into the lap of Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers dumps it off into the flat, and you have a cornerback miss a tackle, and the running back just picks up 10 more yards, right? Things like that it just can't happen. So I don't even think it was so much that the play call or the scheme was off. I thought the execution on that play was better. I thought later on they continued to kind of do a better job of bracketing Devontae Adams. I didn't think all the times it was like your traditional bracket. Sometimes it was just a kind of a two-man trail, having the guy a little bit more shaded over the top of Devontae Adams. I thought they put a big emphasis on taking Devontae Adams away. And, hey, if somebody else is going to beat us, somebody else is going to beat us. And we saw there were, and you guys, I'm pretty sure will see it on all 22. There were times where, guys are open and Aaron Rodgers missed guys or misreads for whatever reason. So I don't know if it was some of the late movement. They did way more movement stuff than they did in the previous week, but that was something that kind of jumped out to us. We'll probably see on the as you guys continue to dive into the all 22.
And on that thought, I'm going to go right into the film now and let me know. Can you see that okay on your end?
Yes, sir.
So we were just talking about this. So we're going to go back up a couple plays. One thing that Eric, now do you go by Eric or Crocky? What do you want me to call you?
Croc, whatever
Croc?
y'all want to call
All right,
me.
I like Croc. So they play a concept, and my buddy that coached in this tree with the previous staff, they call this one string. And so I think some of the things that they did to confuse Rodgers was this is their normal 3D motion adjustment where they were spinning the safeties, but they're actually playing cover one. And they made it look like it was zone alignment cover one. And this is one of the things that you can see, and this will show the Warner forced fumble again. We were mentioning that a lot of the times on this sort of play, the linebacker will robot find the crosser, but knowing that the Packers are so good at chipping and going out, he keeps his eyes down, sees the delay flat, forces the fumble. But it's stuff like that come along in this game that you really, really can see it. Like, this is a great play right here. They make it look like 3D. So weak side rotation. We get bunch again. We've seen this all game long. The backers are bossed over. The safety is down. Now, one of the clues that it's not going to be 3D, is that if you're lining up to this and you're playing your 3 technique to the side of the strength, this guy needs to be in the A. This guy needs to either be in the C, or if you're playing a 6 technique, needs to be somewhere where he can play this gap right here. Obviously, they're playing a 9 technique here, so he's going to play the C gap. So that's kind of your tip, and the safety's down, because everything that you've seen so far has been when they've lined up like this, he has been high, and then comes down late and they move over. But they're actually lined up. They're both kind of disguised wrong. But you can see late they're going to play quarter, half to Adams. Now, one of the things that we saw early on, Eric, was now they're under center, so it's a little different. So one of the things that I noticed was when it was 3-by-1 gun weak, they were playing a traditional 2 over here because the weak hook defender could be involved, because they still run a lot of slant flat, or I think they call it dragon or whatever. I don't know. I don't learn those communist offensive bullshit. But what you're going to see is you're going to see a normal 2D. But when they have the threat of 4 going strong and they have to push the coverage, they will lock it down on the backside and play more of a traditional 2-man, because if this guy goes fast, Warner plays 3 vertical a lot, but now the Will has to do it, which means they drain out any sort of inside routes will be a problem. And they just do a really good job of taking this stuff away. And here's to your point. Early in the game, this might have been a missed tackle. Now, I know he drops the ball, but the ferocity that these guys play with in the secondary. I mean, 49 has, you know the roster's way better than I do, but 49 has got to have at least, 20, 30 pounds in the corner? 15, 20, 30 pounds?
Yeah, Kawan Williams he's a smaller nickel corner, about 5'9", like 180 pounds. So
yeah, and watch him. I mean, he's driving his feet on contact. I mean, it's like, if I felt like that Warner play was a spiritual awakening. And to your point, Croc, like, I think that the hot take in the game was, wow, look at all these adjustments from D'Amico. Wow, look at all this stuff. I didn't really see that a lot. I saw more of the guys doing their thing. We just watched the drive where they scored the touchdown. You know, Armstead just gets blown off the fucking ball. I mean, just gets absolutely annihilated. And then it's like, oh shit, probably saw the surface, play on the tablet, and then went, oh, I can't do that anymore. You know, it's cold too. I mean, a lot of these guys, Eric he went to Oregon. I don't know where he grew up. He's
from Sacramento.
Shit.
Sacramento, California.
Oh, he's a 916 guy? All right, so yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the exact same play. The next snap, they're going to play quarter. They're going to play quarter 2-man. So you got 3-by-1.
Do you think that this, like showing this picture, right? Single high. I mean, you have a safety right there. MOF right there is Tart, and them bailing out to a 2 high at the snap. Do you think that is something that held Aaron Rodgers or made him a little bit more indecisive?
Yes. Because he's looking right at it. So the one thing that you can tell in this package, and if you guys have watched this show before, we've talked about with Zimmer, how they use Harrison Smith. And you'll see later in the game where they bring the weak safety on the line. And they actually do. And so this is another thing I had, Croc, that I felt that was going on, was they were adjusting how they were covering Adams based on a split. So there's a play later on, I think it's play 27, where Adams lines up here, and the safety comes down, and the corner plays high for the 7 cut, and then he basically plays the old swipe technique. So he's down, and he plays the trail man under, and then he plays the half based on the alignment. But absolutely, I think that's what's happening. And again, you're more of the Niners expert than I am. We broke them down when they beat the shit out of the Rams. But besides that, you know, I'm agnostic when it comes to the NFL. I don't have like a team. I mean, I grew up a Dolphins fan, but I'm not like, I don't watch them every week. Yeah. So I don't know what they've put on tape up until this point, minus the Rams game. So I know that people that know a lot more, like guys like you, about what they do week in, week out, said that they departed from their normal behavior. And this may be something they did. Maybe they didn't do a lot of this.
I have not. I mean, they started to do a little bit more movement stuff, but it was clear what they wanted to do in this game. 49ers, they don't run a lot of man. Yeah. I believe against the Dallas Cowboys, I think they had a stat. They ran 83% zone. All right. So when you see them doing things like this, I mean, this was game plan, scheme specific. Looking at the bottom of the screen, seeing Emmanuel Mosley, you know, he squared up, and at the snap, he kind of funnels to the inside. All that is working to get in a trail position on Devontae Adams, right? Knowing I have that safety help over top. So this is not something that you would see them do, at least to this extent. Obviously, all NFL teams at some point on third downs, they'll start to play a little bit more man coverage and things like that. But the 49ers played more man in this game. I think it was very game and scheme specific to the Packers, and even more than what they showed in their week 3 performance.
I totally agree with you. And here's what we talked about earlier. One of the issues the Niners have, if they don't do it correctly, is they play a lot of quarter, half. And what that does is it stresses the Mike linebacker out because he has to run with 3 vertical. And we saw, and now I'm going to go back for a second. I know we're going to kind of go back a little bit now that you're here to kind of put some of the stuff in context. Actually, so this was play 18. Let me find the play that I'm talking about. So this is play 4 from the game. We talked about this, and with 4 strong. So the difference between this play, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We talked about this earlier. with 3 coming out late, they have to push this because the nickel has to take one back, which means he's got to push. Or actually, I'm sorry, the nickel's got to keep. See, Huddle's not letting me erase shit now, so let me do this again. So with 4 coming out, the nickel has to push. Warner should take one back coming inside. The safety is on 2. And now the weak side, because you have the threat of 4 strong, the will linebacker should push and play the vertical of 3, leaving these guys 2 on 1 on the backside, or else you're short. The Niners don't push out that way. The back's able to out leverage what's going on. Now you have 3 guys really on one guy's side, and you're 4 on 4, which you always want to be +1. There's your issue. Now you see on this play where it works out for them, because you have 2 weak, and as you know, with them, this is why I hate this adjustment. I think it's fucking stupid, but I'm not making tens of millions of dollars every year. Walking this guy up is good for blocking, but what happens is he ain't going to go out fast. So now this guy can work this way. Warner can work because now you have the threat of you can't get 4 strong unless it's some, leak out route. Plus that's A.J. Dillon, who's not the most fleet of foot anyway. And now you can see how this really is supposed to play out. But yeah, they trail. They force him off the read. And you can see Rodgers from the end zone. He looks right at him. He gives a signal. He's signaling the, I guess, comeback because that's what he ends up running. The old stripe on the helmet tells the story. He's looking backside. It's not open. He has to come front side, hold the ball. Has to try to make a crazy-ass throw. Incomplete. Warner covers the vertical and the out. But also, and this is also why, look at this guy. He looks like he's been on the fucking peanut butter diet right here. He's he's had one too many, what's that? Muscle milks. Some bitch looks like he's about to break out of his jersey. You know what I mean? Warner's outrunning him and ends up covering him on the out. So, it's not like he's defending Kelsey or some shit. So that helps out. So here we go. We got the end of the game. I'm going to skip a couple of these plays. All right. Here's so we got 2nd and 7, 12 personnel starting the second quarter. This is an old 2-3 double call. So you got a slot set, tight end wing. They're going to play 3 deep. 2 slot. When they get balanced back, they'll play 2 deep. You can see the safeties rotate. Actually, a safety rotate when they motion. You can also tell by body language he's motioning. He's like, "Do I go now? Are you ready for me? Just let me know. Okay, I'm ready when you are."
Look at where he's looking.
Yeah, it's coming back. They spin back to quarters. Great disguise on defense. It ends up playing out like cloud because it's a compressed set. But it ain't country time halves where those safeties are out playing the deep half. But you can see him spin. I love this, man. 2nd and 7, 12 personnel. This only in the NFL, my man. My man's here ready to come off the edge for punt. He's ready to block the punt.
That's Ebukam. He's.
So the running gag, it's not really a gag. I love 94, Willis. He has the best stance I've ever seen. So every time he's on the field, I get hyped. So anytime you see him on there, I'm going to circle his ass. All right, we got a penalty on the Packers. All right, we got our only true shot of 1 double 17. So for those of you who are more interested in this coverage, self-plug, I wrote an article for Bitsology back in July of 2019 about when we played the state championship game and how we came about to play this coverage. And how we had to play a kid named Darren Jones, who was 6'8", had 2,000 yards receiving in high school, and one season, 2,000 yards. The quarterback was Jaden Daniels at Arizona State, and we knew that we had
I watched them live. I went to the state championship game and watched them live.
Cajon?
Yeah.
I was the DC for Sarah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I was the defensive coordinator for Sarah, and we played 1 double number 1. And what we did was, because they had a really good number 2 receiver, we put our best guy on their second best guy, and then we doubled with I call it the Dion principle, our second best guy on their best guy with a double. And here's what you get right here. They're showing 2 high. This is the first time the Niners have played dime. This is true 4-1-6 personnel. Now, your brackets depend on the alignment of and where number 17 is. As you've seen him all game, he's lined up different in different spots. So they're just playing a simple in-out bracket. No, I never coached against Centennial Corona, but I've coached against teams that run their offense, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to defend. The splits change everything you know about the game. We played a team, we played double G's and zeroed up Mike and still got A-gap run up our ass because the G's were too far apart. So the guard just got pieces of the two eyes. The center went right up to the mic, and the back had a two-way go. I still have nightmares about that shit.
That sounds awful.
Scary, man. I hate that. That's so crazy, Croc. You were in that stadium for that in Sacramento?
Yep.
Jesus.
My best friend, his little cousin played for whatever the team y'all played against. Jaden Daniels' team. He played.
Yeah,
he played
Cajon.
corner.
So you were rooting against me, huh?
Yeah, he started
Fuck
at corner
that.
for them.
That's bullshit. No, that's funny, man. Small world, huh?
Yeah. Yep. I was there, and it was cold too. Yep,
Oh yeah, it was.
It was cold. Yeah, I bet Sacramento gets real cold.
December 17th, my man.
probably-
1 week before Christmas. Crazy as hell.
Yeah, it was probably like.
How cold
50
was it?
degrees or
How cold
something,
was it?
It was in the wind. It's cold for us, I'm from Florida and then California, so it was cold for us.
Was it above freezing?
Yeah, it was
It
above
was,
freezing.
it was probably in the 40s to be like 45, 48, like 50, like something like that.
Okay.
We had to play it was the 4 o'clock kickoff on a Friday. We found out who we played at noon on Sunday. You can talk about a short week.
Ooh.
By the way, here's the biggest game in your life, and you have 5 days. Go. All right, so the Packers now, they're in 11 personnel. They're trying to get their receivers in the fit, but the Niners are playing cover 1, so all they're doing, they're bringing people in, is they're bringing defenders in the box. So you're really not gaining anything. What's the end zone cut? And this is what Croc was talking about them coming to play now.
If you want to run that right there, what's the point of bringing all those bodies into there with the receivers in the bunch with the tight end?
So earlier in the game, they were
insert.
playing 3 deep, and they weren't matching the people. So what you'll get like a nickel out here and a safety here, and they're hoping to cram bodies up in there and get on them in space and then cut it. But the Niners' adjustment was I forgot, Huddle's not letting me erase, is they started pressing these guys so they couldn't get up to the second level. But earlier in the game, when they were playing 3, it would have been more helpful.
Gotcha.
But now they're not. I mean, they're just bringing bodies to the party. All right, number 24, get you a piece of ass. Get in there.
He's a tough little dude.
He looks like
a tough
it.
little dude.
At that size, you'd better be.
He thumped the shit out of.
They call him a shark.
He thumped the shit out of Globo Jim when he dropped that pass.
Globo Jim. Yeah, he did. He did.
There's videos of him. I remember him. I mean, one time Cooper Kupp tried to go block him, and he just tossed Cooper Kupp like he was 100 pounds.
Love it. All right, so here you're seeing. Now we talked about this earlier. The problem with weak rotation. Okay, so earlier Ben talked about Croc, just to catch you up. I want to do this early in the play, so because I can't erase now. So the last time the Packers were in this set, now I know they start off in wing twins was a problem, which is probably what causes this, and they're also in base before they were nickel. But the last time the Packers were in this, what happened was the Niners' weak side rotated the safety, the backers were bowed weak, and what happened was Tart had to fit the A gap. But now, this is where motion screws you. Now you've gone 12 personnel. You've got the Niners in base. So their adjustments are going to be different. So now Greenlaw is going to play the A. Warner's going to play the B. 51 is going to fit the C gap in here if the ball goes there. And now you got a corner able to be extra in the C gap, and he's right there. And that's an easy read. They don't have a body for him. So if they block out, they'll double here, and then he can shoot right through. It's not like he has to take on anybody. Now the motion, again, they slingshot the motion. This is a great fit. So the back block comes. Now they're back on a string. Okay, so right now, Greenlaw has the A. Warner has the B. Sorry, that's not the B. That's the B. Corner's got the C. But as soon as this back block comes, they're going to lever back. So this backer that was out of the box, he's going to pull the A. Now Warner, or the B, Jesus, I'm all screwed up. Warner's going to pull the A. Greenlaw's now going to fit the C. 4 is extra. They're matching up on the edge. Let edge players defend the edge. Let inside players defend the inside. It's old fly sweep option rules. Don't bite the cheese. And they go make the play. Great play by Greenlaw there. But those, anybody's ever been curious about lever, spill, lever, run fits, this is what I'm talking about. All right, we got 3-week buzz now on this snap. Great comment by Ben here. So now we got mug. This is the other thing about the mug stuff. So just a little additional, so a little context, a little flavor on this. Okay, one of the things, we talked about one of the issues the Niners had when they were just lined up and playing quarter, half, was 4 strong, right? We went over that twice. When Croc came back on, I went over that. One of the best things I've learned from Ron Roberts, the DC at Baylor, was about simulated pressures and showing pressure, and that shit is, he said, Chris, if they're going to protect with 5 every play, make them fucking pay. And so if you're having a problem covering a back, you can sit there and bastardize all your coverages. You can sit there and do all this goofy shit you want. By the way, I hate that my box, I gotta get an equal box. I hate the fact that my big ass head is twice the size of y'all. I'm gonna have to pony up and get that fixed because Eric's much better looking than me. And he's in a little ass box and my big ass head's taking up half the screen. Anyway, one of the things that you can do is by showing these mug pressures, you keep the back in, and now you don't have to worry about covering his ass. So using mugs and disguises as a weapon to cover people rather than, oh shit, we're gonna butch the back, meaning take the end on the back and we're gonna insert a guy and we're gonna do all this shit. Why not just line up? And I think the Niners realized, hey man, if we just line up in this crazy ass look, it's not crazy look, but you're seeing now, I mentioned earlier where they were going to get the weak safety involved back to the film. Now they got to account for this guy. And this, by the way, I don't want to get on a tangent because Lord knows it's my specialty. This is why the Zimmer package is so effective, because everybody talks about the double mug A-gaps, and it is. That is a huge part of it. But this guy right here presenting a 7th rusher is what makes this guy have to stay in. Because if he tries any bullshit here, they can't fan to this guy. They cannot fan to this. Or they'll pay. Now, the nickel here, we were talking about how tough he is and everything. They screw up. So this is 3-week buzz. So this is a little different. This is something that's really interesting. Normally couple things here. Normally when you walk a guy off the edge, the easy thing to do is, right, buzz him out, play him here, weak hook, strong hook, curl flat, right? That's what people do. But what the Niners do, and you'll see it happen later on, really save their ass, is they have Greenlaw play flat, looking to double the X, and they let the weak safety who's lined up off the edge be the weak hook player. And why this is important is now you have a safety covering 3 up, because the hook player overdrops 3, 2 yards outside to push him back inside, and now you have a safety covering Randall Cobb instead of a backer. And this is actually the first time, and this might be the only time the Packers are in actually playing 10 personnel. Because we've seen 49 run down the middle of the field, and I don't think, I'll speak for you guys, I don't like speaking for people, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say we have not been impressed with his speed, okay? But now...
especially not against the 49ers backers who can run.
Right.
No doubt.
Exactly.
No
He's
doubt.
like a decoy. You're hoping that Warner takes his ass.
He's the chip run the flat route, because that's basically what he can do. So he
Which
chips
is
and
why
runs the flat.
I believe the Niners didn't run fire zone as much as they usually do, because that is the big weakness we talked about earlier. And fire zone is 3 out to the flat, especially late. Everybody declares, then he goes out. Now your nickel has to come off, and you leave number 2 running down the middle of the field, which happens. Now the problem is our tough-ass kid in the slot does bad technique here. Croc, you ever play nickel like this? Were you a nickel or are you an outside guy? Let me go to the
I was
back
an
of the
outside
film.
guy, but I mean, I'll be able to visualize it.
Okay, tell me what my man in here thought does wrong. He looks like he's starting out right, but I think his eyes are bad, and he just lets him get outside.
Yeah, so the 49ers, a lot of times their guys have an issue looking at the quarterback. So I don't know if they do more spot dropping than more type match type stuff, but I'm that's not the way that I've ever really taught coverage. I teach more like read your keys. Like the receiver is going to kind of tell you what to do next. And in a situation like that, he kind of spot drops. Okay, I drop back, I get to my spot. His eyes go to the quarterback instead of the nearest receiver who's going right in front of him. So I think if he would have been eyeing, if he would have keyed Adams and then let Adams take him to the quarterback, he would have been in better position to make a play on the ball. But 49ers do a ton of spot dropping. Matter of fact, this is a game where, from what I've seen so far, they haven't done as much spot dropping as they typically do, which might be why they had a little bit more success, to be honest.
And we noticed that too. In fact, the one play they did spot drop right before you came on, Rodgers, you talked about missing on something. You talking about guys being open is they ran wide cross, and
yeah,
we taught it and we got from Georgia was even in 2x2, the weak hook defender had to match the cross. You either had to put the nickel on it, they call it the dirty vertical, or you have to have the weak hook defender carry it, or else you've got a stretch in your defense. And I noticed that they played it differently than they did versus the Rams, which is funny because they had so much success versus the Rams. Now here we talk about, here back to the film, we got a G technique here. They're just running inside zone. And we mentioned our boy Seth Galina talking about this a lot. Watch what this does to the Packers. So now they're running weak. That center has to play real wide. And honestly, this is terrible technique. I mean, he's burying his head. What do they say in zone? I should know this, Ben. Four hands, four eyes, or
yeah.
What's the goofy shit those offensive line coaches are saying?
I should know it too.
I mean, I've heard it a fucking million times and I can't remember it, of course. I mean, this is like JV football. I mean, just go play the A gap and go make a play. I mean, but
it
that's
don't get
what
much easier for a player with his ability.
That's what a two technique does, because if he's in the gap or shaded, yeah, we know what's going to happen. But if he's in a G where he's thick here, he can go and play and cut this off. But because he's so wide, he has to step wide, right? Because if he just climbs, then he shoots back in here and backdoors it and makes the ball cut all the way out, which that ain't going to help anything. So, I mean, there's not much you can do versus that.
Yeah, and good job by the three technique grinding the guard too and keeping the guard from climbing up to 54.
Absolutely. Okay, here's the play that Ben and I debated. Croc, you might be the tiebreaker here. So Ben thought this was 3, right? Maybe it's another play.
What I had.
So here's what I was talking about earlier. So Adams has got a tight split here. Okay, I think they're playing quarter half, and I think this is my thought on this. I think what happens is because he is tight, because it's 2nd and 11, they just got stuffed on a run, so they knew you're gonna pretty much throw the ball. Because he's tight, we've been talking about the 2-man trail, but because he's tight, I think what 27 does is say, you come down and cut his ass, I'll go play high and for the 7. You can see him, he's doing something with his arm. It looks like it. I could be wrong, his right arm, or maybe I'm making shit up.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
You see him play high. You definitely know they're playing quarters back here because Greenlaw matches the back. So he's got that back. But you see how that safety, instead of playing hot, playing over the top, and 27 trailing, I think what happens is, and it could be 3-week buzz. So this was one of the things I think Ben may be right, is he's buzzing in here and they're doing the thing I just talked about.
The stripe helmet thing, the thing that convinced me it was 3-week buzz was number 3's eyes. I think you might get a better look if you go to the end zone.
Yeah, you're right.
But he's looking at 3 immediately to figure out what his problem was. I also had a little bit of an I don't know if it's an epiphany or whatever.
That's some strong language. Yeah.
I have like these spaz out moments where all of a sudden like something clicks in my head and then I like walk around and talk to myself about it. But this was like the 49ers are a huge cover 3 team and everyone's playing the weak buzz rotation, but they really haven't played a whole lot of it like we've seen in some previous weeks where they kind of just lived in it. But when, like, to your point you made about knowing, 10 personnel versus 11 personnel, they get 81 back in here either. And I know he's a good player, but he's not like a vertical, I'm going to outrun you threat.
Yeah.
And we've also talked about the reputation of the 49ers pass rush. And so the Packers have a pretty good plan here to chip and just as a way to slow some of these edge guys down. And so I think what happens here is 3 realizes his potential 3 vertical threat is right there to chip, and he does chip. And I think sometimes what happens is this almost turns into a pseudo, he can almost turn his attention back to Adams, who's the X here he's the backside X.
I agree with you. You have changed my mind. You've presented your case, counselor. Fantastic job.
But it almost becomes like this is if you're getting chipped, that's a good answer is go to 3-week buzz, because if it does chip and you don't get 3 vertical, you can turn this guy back into a bracket on the X guy. So you can almost play middle of field closed and bracket the X at the same time.
Okay, here we go. We see it again, 3-week buzz. So now they're going to cross 57-1 right here, going to cross each other, which again, this is not something you see a lot of. I'll be honest, I haven't seen much of this where they're willingly lining him up off the edge. And honestly, what I think they're starting to do now is I think Ryan's is getting pissed because his rush isn't getting there, right?
Yeah.
That last sack we just saw was a coverage sack. And I think what he's trying to do is
he's play from Bosa.
What's that? I'm sorry?
And a hustle play from Bosa. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
But he's trying to get more one-on-ones now, but he's not bringing anybody. And the Packers aren't really honoring it. I mean, watch the center turn. He knows nobody's coming. And you'll see it hurt him later. I think he's also lulling them to sleep. But this is crazy.
When we got to the end of the game, I thought for sure, okay, he's going to line all these guys up in this same look, and it's going to be seven rushers for 6 blockers.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be like his ace in the hole would be, okay, now I'm going to bring it all.
Yeah, just bring it.
Here's what's weird too is they did that late against Dallas Cowboys on 4th down.
That's right.
Do we watch that, Vass? I feel like we did. Yeah.
But see, here's what's interesting is if this is 3 deep, I mean, he's covering this shit from 9 yards. And he's not really even backing up. It's wild.
I think he's trying to sell that this is 0 pressure.
I think this is a bust.
Let's say the call here was double A gap mug, weak rotation, we're sending 70 or 6. Then the guy who's bluffing at 15 yards in the post would be responsible for 3. He might be just trying to really sell the fact that this is going to be 0 pressure by getting down here to 9 yards inside leverage of 3 flat foot, and then at the snap try to get to the middle of the field.
Yeah, well,
why 2 receivers run to the same area?
What I'm surprised it doesn't happen is I'm surprised the weak hook defender doesn't treat this like number 3. Because think about this. Same. If he is chipping and going out, right?
Yeah.
You could count that as 3 coming back, and you could just take that.
No question.
I'm sorry, wrong guy. That guy.
That was exactly what I was about to mention too. Is those guys are so close. Pre-snap, it doesn't matter who's 1, 2, and 3 because post-snap it could change right
just
away.
Take
so
the
you
bender.
have to treat both of them as a possible 3.
Yeah, I think the bus is on. This guy because everybody else says it's. I mean, everybody else tells me it's 3 deep. But he gets the ball out on time. It's a hurry. They get 9 yards. I mean, good job. Skip ahead a little bit.
And that's a good thing about pressure. A lot of people talk about pressure versus coverage, and I'm like, man, give me pressure. Because if you get pressure, then sometimes you have instances like that where there is a coverage bust, and it still doesn't hurt you.
Yeah. All right, Ben, narrate this one real quick. We got to start moving along. We got damn near half the game, and Croc, if you got to go early, dude, we understand. We usually have this slotted for 2 hours. It never goes just 2 hours. So we're blessed to have you in our presence. So if you got to roll, you got to roll. So I don't want you to feel
I'm
bad.
good for another 20 minutes for sure.
All right, so here we go. We got late line movement, linebacker movement. Ben, you narrate and I'll draw. What do we got?
Yeah. Okay. So right now they are. Maybe it would be helpful to go to the wide. Okay. So right now versus this formation. All right. So it's what I would call flank. Okay, but that linebacker is apexed over number 2. If they were in a split safety defense, if they were in their quarter half or whatever they're going to play, that's where he would align. And we've already seen where they tried to bluff it and this guy was down. And then as you just drew, he backed straight up and it was quarters or palms or something like that.
Yeah, that's when they hit Adams out on that quick out.
Yep. A little option route, out route, whatever it is. Okay. So now go to the end zone copy. So right now, pause it right before 51 moves. Okay, so the offensive line is making their combos who they're going to work to. Okay, so they're declaring that combination to number 54 right there, and then that combination to number 57. Okay, so the late movement we saw on the touchdown play early in the game, the Packers offensive line was able to adjust for this late movement and pick up the safety coming into the box late on the Bronco explanation and get it blocked and score a touchdown. Here they whiff. So the offensive line has declared their blocks. They don't get it redeclared when 51 bumps himself into the box. And now there is nobody even trying to block 54. Nobody sees where that's going. I suspect that the Packers right guard and center are correct. They pick it up, 71 and whoever. They're blocking Armstead to 51. It's the left guard who doesn't see it. Now they've got it, so it messes with the backside of the combination blocks, and so nobody picks up 54, Fred Warner, which is a huge problem because he's way too good to be unblocked.
That's the one guy you want to block.
Yeah, like you go into your game plan saying every time we call a run, someone's blocking 54, like no excuses, no explanations. We're blocking 54 all day long, right?
Well, and here's what I don't understand. They're blocking this thing like it's going to cut back. They did this the first play of the game. I mean,
with this inside zone.
This is a cutback play. I mean, they're actually almost looks like it's going the same side. Yeah. And the back just go. I mean, you cut this out right now. Now, 51 being unblocked, what should happen is they should he should probably sift up to this guy. You know what I mean? So at least he can cut behind this and make Bosa have to make the play and then can cut out. Right now, he's fucked. Where does he go?
Yeah,
he buries himself.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a good example of how late movement can mess up where the O-line is declared their blocking schemes too, and you can get yourself a free hitter at the point of attack.
Okay, we got a huge bust alert right here on the corner down low. So they're showing one high. They get to cover two. This is JV football. Fly players have pitch on option and wheel.
Yeah.
Right. So how I was always taught was the second guy through my zone, I have to kind of run with that. Or at least, be ready to run with that. So the first guy was that receiver or, whoever was tight on the line of scrimmage to him.
Lazard,
that's one. So he's at 13. Lazard, that's one. So now I really have to run with whoever the next threat is out of the flat, which is the running back.
You know what I think this is? Because I think it's too deep coverage with the compressed set. I think this is, maybe I'm overstating this, and Croc, tell me if you think I'm full of shit. But I think it's the Devontae effect. Watch, he thinks it's mesh.
Yeah.
It's mesh pyramid, right?
Yep.
And he thinks I got the crosser. Right?
I think you're 100% right here, Vass.
And he's like, oh shit. He's looking at him. Oh shit, I better throttle down. And then that's when he's like, no, thank you.
Yep. I think you're 100% right.
So do we put the bust on the safety?
No, the bus is on the corner. I just think Devontae being there gets him fucked up.
I think that it's a bust on the corner. So it's a compressed set. The safety's reading the release of one to figure out how much width he needs. One disappears.
Oh, I get what you're saying, Croc. Yeah.
There's no vertical threat, so the safety just kind of settles up and is looking for work. And meanwhile, I think the bus is on the corner. Croc's
I would say so too. What do you think, Croc? I mean, the safety should help him, but the corner's definitely – I'll say this. The corner's definitely wrong, but I think the safety should be there to help.
Yeah, the safety's got to have big vision, I think.
Like I said, I'm used to the way I've taught it and the way a lot of times the second guy through your zone, most likely you're going to have to run with that. Now, the safety, I'm curious to, know what his responsibility is because he never even keys anything outside. He doesn't look at it like he doesn't even glance out to his left. He's looking either inside at the quarterback or something at the crosser, something caught his eyes. Not one time did he even take a peek out there. So, there could be a scenario where they're both wrong, but I would probably be on my corner telling them, second guy through the zone, you got to run with it.
Well, and furthermore, nobody expects you to throw the wheel and mesh wheel versus cover two, to be honest with you. I mean, that's a dead play, right? You wouldn't look to throw that. That's an oh shit, I'm a 18-year whatever NFL vet play. You know what I mean? Like mesh wheel is for man. So you've got mesh pyramid. So mesh pyramid is you got crossers with somebody sitting over. Actually, this almost looks more like shallow. That's usually not a play completed against two high safeties. That's a one high. We got everybody crapped in here and then try to outflank this. That is a throw the ball in rhythm play.
Yeah.
It's just, this is what happens when you can extend plays. Question in the chat: what is a G technique? A G technique to me is somebody who is aligned inside shade in the guard. In this game, they play heavier and more of a head up too, but he's still playing A gap responsibility. Okay.
I see someone in the chat saying that they liked how you the concept of your putting your number one guy on someone's two and then doubling the one.
Oh yeah. That's
and that's what the Patriots do a lot of as well.
Mm-hmm.
They would do a lot of putting like Gilmore on someone's wide receiver two, and then taking their other corner and doubling him on the best guy.
Yeah, and they did it with Revis, and then really where I discovered it, it wasn't in the one double situations, but I remember Jimmy Johnson talking about it when he was at the Cowboys. Or it wasn't Jimmy, it was Barry Switzer. I think it was who was still the DC, and they talked about they would put him on the second worst guy or the second best guy, unless it was like a Rice or a Rison or somebody like that. They would put him on the second best side and say, or the second best guy. I keep saying side. Second best guy, and say, you got him, and then we're going to play halves over the other side. All right, so this is how they use Warner against empty, and this is some shit. You need a special player to do this, and if you have a special player to do this, you can get away with stuff like this. So what's going to happen is they're going to play quarters on 1 and 2, especially with Adams being there. Now, here's what I don't understand. Maybe when y'all help me out here. Why they didn't put Adams as the 3 in trips. And I want to see what they would have earned empty in the trip side, because then Warner would have to cover him one-on-one. But you see here now we talked about take-back rules. Because Warner is drained out, because he is covering 3 vertical, the nickel cannot pass anything back inside, which is why he's going to aggressively match the outside receiver. The corner and the safety are going to double Adams. And then down here you're getting palms. You see the overhang. C2 go out, he gets hands, he gets a communication. We tell our kids all the time, you don't make a call unless you point. I don't want you coming out the field like, well, I said smash, I said China. Did you point? No? Then you didn't fucking say it, because I can't see on film whether you said something or not. I can't hear it. So that's the thing that you have to, do. Point. That's great coverage right there.
The Packers get to exactly what you're talking about later in the game. They run 3 down the middle in the red area. They run 3 down the middle, and then Adams is at number 2, and he runs. Like everyone's going to run the Indy 7, follow 7, whatever you want to call it. And then he runs the little in and up route, trying to get him isolated on that middle player. We'll get to it later. It's one of the last plays of the game.
We got a good corner play here. They're trying to get a pulse player. It's 3 deep. So I think this is the first play in the second half. It's 1st and 10, 12 personnel. Ball's in the 32. Niners are in base. They're playing 3 deep zone. This might be oh shit. What did I say it was called earlier? One something.
String. One string.
No. What the hell was it called? Check my notes. See, I gotta have notes. It's a coverage the one string. It's a coverage the Sala guys run. So this is, you're going to see here, the Packers run this a lot in the second half, where they're running 8-man protection, 2-man routes, and I know they'll leak a guy late, but that's a check. And you'll see the benefits of playing 1, the benefits of 3 and playing 3, and you'll see some of the weaknesses here. This is great corner play right here by 27.
Yeah, this is really good. It's a neat little scheme here too. The post players got some discipline. I don't really recall seeing the 49ers take over routes with the post player using the Bengal concept.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. And it bites in the ass later. Yeah,
it does. But if you're playing a cover 3 team that uses Bengal rules, which is basically if you get a deep over, especially off these play actions, the safety will go ahead and cut that deep over route and take it, and the corner will replace him in the middle of the field. from these compressed splits, one of your pre-snap alerts is a deep over route here by Devontae, especially coming off play action.
Yeah.
And so sure enough, they stem him up hard and then run him to the post for 3 steps. I wonder if they're trying to get the safety to bite down on that so they can throw the big post over the top of his head. The safety doesn't take the cheese, so now he just throws. I've always called this the circus route. So he looks to throw the circus route to Devontae, but the corner's in excellent position. He's got good eyes, good body position. He's ready to play it, and I think they end up just checking it down here, don't they?
So let's talk about the Bengal, what that means, the Bengal concept. Let me get a zoomed out picture. All right, so right here, we're talking this guy is going to run a deep post. It's not to scale, by the way, because we've only got 20 yards of field, and he's going to run a deep over, but it's going to be at like 22. This post is going to be run your ass to the pylon. What Ben is saying is a lot of times in these situations when you have only 2 wide receivers, that the corners, the free safety will take the over and the backside corner will squeeze it. And when he realized the guy playing the deep over, not playing the post, well, he's not going to go that far down. It's going to be more like that. Sorry, there's a lot of lines going on here. I apologize. But I think you're right. I think that they didn't set it up. That's the weird thing, Ben. They ran like the counter to the play before they ran the actual play.
Yeah.
Now, Croc, did you ever play on a team that did that with those over routes where they would have the free safety play it and then take the corner? And I'm not talking about on the backside of 3x1 when you get sneak alert and tube alert where you're exchanging responsibilities with the weak hook defender and the corner takes the bender. I'm talking about taking the free safety down on something and letting the corner play the route from the other side.
I remember we did something like that with the Jets where I would fall off the crosser and I would fall off the crosser from my guy and then fall off into space and catch that other crosser coming from the other side.
Yeah.
And then
What did Rex call that? Were you there with Rex when that was, or?
Yeah, Rex Ryan. Yeah.
Did you play with Jim Leonard?
Nah, he was like the year before me, or a year or 2 before me, I believe.
How about Dwight Lowry?
No, he was for sure a year before me.
Okay, that was one of my best friends.
I was there with Landry, but not the like big buff one, but like
not the Bowflex body Landry.
Yeah, I was there with Landry, and then we had some other guys that y'all probably like, double A. So that's like Antonio Allen, Rontez Miles. He was kind of a little bit more of a special teams guy. He ended up playing like 7 years, but no big name safeties. And then later in the year, I wasn't there at this Time, but like Ed Reed got there, but I wasn't there at that time.
Damn. That's my boy. Yeah, I shouldn't say my boy. I went to Miami. I worked for the team. He was my favorite. So anyway, okay. I was just curious because the Niners play. You could see they get caught in this concept a little later on in the game. They in cover 1 where they get their ass kicked a little bit on it. All right, so we got to snap a palm.
I know exactly what play you're talking about. Coming from the left side to the right.
Yep. They got no help on the over route. So here you get double. I think what do they call this in the West Coast? Omaha, where they both run out.
Yeah, Omaha.
Help me out here. I don't know that shit. Now you get okay. So first of all, let's talk up top. Okay, this is a palms beater. This is a pain in the ass. So we told our guys that if we got a stall release, meaning the receiver did not come off fast, corner, you're out. You can't wait on this shit, right? So you lock on 1, and we told the nickel to buy number 2. Because normally, let's say he went full speed and ran out, corner would jump it, safety play over the top, right? But because he stall releases, corner has to say now, fuck it. I got 1, you lock on 2, you buy 2 out to the flat. But the problem is, and here's where this option route is so good, especially with the stall release. Remember last time we saw, the difference was last time though. Oh, no. We got 2 weeks. So last time the back was late out here, which meant Warner went here and they found a void in here. Yeah. Now the nickel got cussed out on the sideline. You know it's coming. And so now he plays inside. What does Adam do? He breaks out. Yep. But the corner can't. That's too much time. You got to lock that.
You can't palms that.
Backside gets double out and up. Unlucky by the Packers.
Yeah, it's open.
What'd they have? 55 yards passing in the second half? Was that the stat I saw?
Yeah. Yeah, the nickel definitely doesn't get beat inside. And I've never played a lot of palms. You're well more versed in it than I am. But that's a great rule on the stall release is the palms, any palms potential is off versus stall release. That's a great point.
And I've talked about
really
this.
End up posing is the safety. Because the safety, if you tried to palms that, the corner could trigger no problem, but there's no way the safety gets on top of one.
Yeah.
You're throwing routes on air to a 9 route there.
I mean, think about this guy having to push out. Now he kind of stall releases, but say he gets a really good MOR up here. Bust his ass. He's right here if he goes.
Yeah.
Because obviously in palms, you can't be physical with 2. Right?
Yeah.
So he's got a free release. That's a lot. It's not a lot of vertical. It's a lot of horizontal space, too, to cover that.
Oh, yeah.
You better fucking have Ed Reed or a prime Eric Crocker. You can't be doing that shit with these crumb grabbers. Guys in the chat, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give my normal PSA. Okay? If you're learning football and you're watching this and going, oh, shit, I can't figure this out. How do you figure this out? How do you figure this stuff out? First of all, we're guessing, because and Croc, you can attest to this, unless you're in those meeting rooms and you know those special rules for that week, it's all guessing. Not all guessing. Some of it's pretty cut and dry. Like when they're playing cover 1, it's cover 1. But the only reason I know about one string I talked about wasn't because I'm some fucking genius. Somebody that worked in that coaching tree texted me and said, dude, check out play 3. This is what this is. It ain't like I'm sitting here going, meditating, and then it just comes to me, okay? Second of all, if you're trying to learn off the TV copy, that's why one of the first things I said is I watch this game on the iPad. I'm kind of paying attention and watching it, but I know I'm not going to get anything till I get the all 22. I mean, I get little bits in here, but it's hard, man, especially when they want to talk about all the special interest stories.
A little bit more credit though. You're extremely knowledgeable with it. I think the only thing, like you said, unless you're in the meeting rooms or whatever, you might be right? You might be right with what it is that you're seeing, but just maybe not know if they told the players to play it a certain way based on something that the Packers might like to do. And that you could be slightly off with that. But I think your observation of the coverage and things like that, I think you're probably much closer than wrong.
And I appreciate that. I'll tell you, the play where Ben and I disagreed, I'm like, I don't know. And then we watched it live and I'm like, no shit, he's definitely right.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I've also been doing this for 15 years. Somebody said to me, this happened multiple times, man, you're so good at this. And I'm like, I appreciate that, but this was my life for 15 years. If I wasn't good at it by now, I need to get doing something fucking else, because when you do something every day for 15 years, if you don't gain some sort of, it's longer than that now. If you don't gain some sort of expertise, time to move on, buddy. But my point is, there are so many moving parts. And here's the other thing, Croc, and you can attest to this. Because it's one thing for me to sit here and talk about, I've worked with this guy and I coach this guy, but it's really great to have a former player on. I didn't realize how many times, and I said this a bunch, but I've never said it in the presence of a player, how many times guys bust. I thought the NFL, it's the NFL, so everybody's just perfect. It's like Madden. It's like a video game, right? That's not the case. So that's how you figure out some of these coverages are, it's like a puzzle, right? There's 7 guys usually, on average, dropping. Well, if 6 of them are doing one thing and one of them's not, that's kind of the fish there. That's the guy that's all right. But sometimes if multiple guys blow it, and especially on opposite sides, like that one play where the guy's just running right down the middle of the field, I don't know. I don't have the call sheet in front of me. Now, I will say this about teams like the Niners. They're a lot more chalkboard, meaning when they play 4, they play 4. It's not like TCU or some shit or Bama where it's 7 custom adjusted Bronco where it could be 8 different coverages based on fucking formation and flank and shit. That is impossible. I got the 2021 Bama calls, and they're useless because it's just a call. I don't know what custom means, because custom is literally, these are our rules for man match quarters based on this opponent.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm not in the meeting rooms or I don't have a scouting report, how am I mean, and there's so many situations, especially defensively in football. In offense, it's like, is the corner rolled up? Okay, then maybe it's a converted route. Is it middle of the field open or is it middle of the field closed? You know what I mean? Or there's option routes. It's not based on the defense as much as defense. You would have to have, you would have to have multiple occasions of the exact same thing happening over a long period of time to be like, okay, versus this formation, this is what they're going to do. Because there's something, you get those 8 boxes, you got the playbook, you got the 8 box with all the cover shit in it. Every box is different. You know what I mean? So anyway, I say that because a lot of people come on here and they're like, oh, I'll never figure this out, or I don't know how to figure this out. Listen, I'm guessing too, and yeah, I do have some more experience doing this and, but nobody knows unless Tart comes on here and was like, yo, okay, we did this and we did that. And then you can be like, okay, well then sure. But even like somebody who was on the team last year, I mean, how do you know that it's the same? I mean, it could, right. Everybody's got their own flavor. Anyway,
the adjustment, they played this team week 3, so they might have called things a certain way, and just they can make adjustments within their scheme that are hard for us to know exactly what they were told. Because I could say, hey, cover 3, like I said, even with the cover 2, right? I said on that coverage bust, hey, second guy through zone, I've been taught that you have to carry it a certain way. Maybe they said, hey, if you get that second guy, don't worry about that because maybe you have something coming from the other side and then somebody else busted, and you just, those are the things you're just not sure.
Well, and coaches are guessing too. So let's use that as an example. Coaches are asshole too. They might have told that corner, hey, listen, they never run wheels. So if you have near back tight X, I've done this. That Cajon game that you were at, we ran a 5-man, 2 deep, 4 under pressure, and the end had the back. And I told the D end, to the side of the bat or to the boundary, I said, they don't throw tailback screen. They haven't thrown it in 8 weeks. So if you don't see that guy release on your first step, go. Don't worry about it. Well, luckily my player was smarter than me. And as he started to rush, he saw the bat kind of hop in place and he retraced and made this crazy one-armed interception down on their end. And he overcame me. He overcame the coaching. So that corner might have been told, hey, listen, if Devontae's on the other side, you get a cut split, alert mesh, you're going to take items coming back. We'll let the safety take a wheel if they run it because they don't run it a lot. And then all of a sudden they do it on a broken play. I mean, we don't know. And again, I don't know. I want to watch enough of the Packers to know their tendencies and things like that. So that's where I'm just saying for the people that are in here that because I get that a lot. Like, man, I'm never going to get this. Or I watch Ben or you or Croc talk about some, and I feel like I don't know anything. And it's like defeating. I'm like, we're all guessing. Anybody that says they know 100% is full of shit. Anyway, back to live.
What about action. PFF?
Well, that's another thing. We had a comment in the chat about that. I'm sorry. And Gerald Alexander, the DB coach from the Dolphins, said this the other day. We've been given number 71. Was it 71 the center? A lot of shit for how he's been comboing. But what if his fucking coach told him to do that?
Right, yeah.
He's wrong, but he may be right according to what he's being told. Again,
yeah.
The best and brightest aren't all in the NFL. I hate to say that, coaching. There's some of the best coaches I know. Everybody thinks, oh, it's the NFL. It's the best players. It's the best coaches. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. All right, enough of my ranting. Here is a simulated pressure, the only one we get in the game. Ben said D'Amico Ryan deep in the playbook. So we got and this is a favorite from a lot of sim pressure guys. What's going to happen is the nickel, they're going to rotate. The nickel is going to play the half. The strong safety of the field will play the weak half. The corner is going to go. The weak safety is going to trap the flat. Bosa is going to be the curl player. Warner will be the hook. Greenlaw will be the weak curl. Now, because this 3x1 in the back is up, you don't need to get a whole lot of depth. You just got to look for Agent 17 coming in. And then the line is going to work weak. Now, one interesting thing is they're going to stab here and run a Tex or a pop game. 99 to the field is going to contain. Now, here's the thing that's interesting about this, and we'll watch this. Yeah, this is when they drop Bosa. So, one little coaching point on this Tex stunt is you're going to stab through the B gap here. 98's going to contain. Bosa's going to drop. Okay. But what's going to happen is 56 is going to read the tackle. If the tackle fans, he's expecting him to fan, right? So he's going to go and come underneath. However, if they go full slide and block down, he will come tight off the edge and spill with the corner coming up field. Because if they're going to slide, full slide, turn, gap protect it, then stunting into that is useless. So he fans, he comes underneath. So not only is it makes him right, it's a good timing mechanism. Now, where the Packers get lucky, or I'm sorry, well, don't get lucky, but where it screws them is actually cross protect.
Yeah,
so the back is coming across, and they're sliding to the side of the back, which is why teams do this, and 71's able to pick up that stunt with the guard.
I'm a little surprised they cross protect after having moved the back up.
Do you think it's because they think Warner's going to blitz and that's a better angle than stepping up like this?
Yeah, you know what's funny? Yeah, so we talked to our offensive guys in the offseason about we ran some bear Mike shoot, and the way we had it rigged was we wanted the backer to blitz away from the back and send the nose to the back. And after talking to our running back coach and our offensive guys, they were like, in a lot of ways that's actually easier to block it that way, because now the back can deliver a blow on an angle and knock your guy outside the path of the quarterback.
Yep.
Whereas if you blitz the back, he can just steamroll the back, run him over right into the quarterback's lap.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of debate on how to run those Mike shoot pressures, but after seeing it that way, that's how I like it. But I just the space is weird, the angle is weird to cross protect with that back cheated up like that. I don't know.
Okay, I don't like this. If you're gonna play 3 buzz, which is what they're doing, so the Niners are in base personnel. So what they're trying to do, and one of the advantages of playing their one, help me out, Ben. What's the word again? One tether string. I know every fucking word synonym for string, but I can't remember string. Is the reason they're doing this is not only to play 3 deep with a man alignment, is it keeps these guys protected. When I butchered it earlier and I talked about how it changes for them, the backside lever player, now he needs to know he's the strong hook player, but if they rotate back away the other way, he's the weak curl flat player, but his run fit doesn't change because he is out of the run fit, right? So it keeps their coverage different, but it's not that because of all the compressed sets and lack of receiver threats, there's really nothing to that. What I don't like here is if you're going to play 3 buzz, you're going to insert a safety down, and you bail. Your 4-to-1st player then has to play this, and it's just I'm not loving it, especially with the back weak. I mean, that's stealing, right?
Yeah,
I'm also not loving the way the cornerback played it. If you're the corner to the single side, I would personally prefer him maybe do more of a press bail.
Yeah.
Instead of showing off and giving up the easy, 5-yard catch.
Absolutely.
With the press bail, you still will be over top of them, but you're just showing the quarterback that it's not open right now.
Right.
Just based off of your alignment, he would probably have to look off of that.
Absolutely, and you're rotated strong. So they know, Rodgers knows they're rotated strong, so you have to protect this. You know what I mean? You don't have any help. You're it's not even a disguise. You are telling them ahead of time, we are strong side rotating.
Pre-aligned single high, that's like stealing.
You got to get up there. Devontae's good. Now, I don't want to slander Devontae. He's a East Palo Alto, Fresno boy, 2 places I live very close to. But I don't know. He's great underneath, and obviously he can stretch verticals, but he's not like a big fade, go up and make some crazy moss play, is he? That's not his game, is it?
They do a lot of back shoulders with him, and he does have really good ball tracking skills. But if I'm in a bail, I'm not really worried about that. The only thing that I'm kind of vulnerable to is a slant. But with that linebacker underneath, that shouldn't be an issue. So that's what I would press bail it and stay on top. And I think that would kind of discourage Rodgers from just raising up and throwing that stop route.
Here's the pitch. Awesome cracker place. What does a good job of this? Help me out, Crocker. This is why I need you. 51. What's his name?
Alshire.
See, this is why I always have somebody from that covers the team, because I'm a coach. So I'm like, obviously I know, and I used to tell our kids early on as a joke, if I know your name, that means I think you're good. Like I know Agent 54 and 97. If I know your name, it's either really good or really bad. But 51 here, and he's the guy that subbed out when they go, because they're still in base here. His fast trigger forces the receiver to block flat. When the receiver blocks flat, the corner can go. The worst thing that can happen on defense, and this is why I'm not a big stack track fall back guy, is he sits, and I understand under center toss is a different type of play. But if he sits, now the receiver can climb on him, which makes the corner read slower, which means he can't replace. Because 51, let's go to the wide copy, is so fast. The corner, look how fast the corner can trigger. Now, go. He ain't running in and go. He does the old Nick Saban spin technique. He sees 77, he makes a business decision. He does the old, what my mentor called the West Virginia bucket lily spin. Whoop, and gets back in there and takes him out like a tornado.
Damn, that was a hell of a job by Mosley.
Yeah, it is. They drill that at Alabama. It's a good drill. We stole it from them.
The ice pick.
We stole it.
Do you ever do that, Croc, in cover 2 where you set the edge? I'm going to have to use my hands. I got to get on camera here. You set the edge, and when the ball starts to get to your level, you spin back inside. Did you ever do that?
No.
I thought it was stupid as hell. And I'm like, no way am I teaching that. The first time I saw it, and then the second time I saw it, after getting my ass kicked in cover 2 with the corner running upfield. Not running upfield, but running straight up. And the ball just cuts outside of you. I'm like, maybe there's something to this. And then I did it. Yeah. The kids, obviously. Anytime you get guys spinning, I don't know what it is with football players and spinning, but you let them spin and they turn into fucking Cirque du Soleil. It's insanity. All right, we got a little tight front. 3rd and 1, 12 personnel. The Niners are in, they're still in base, so they're going to slide Aziz into the box to be the 5 technique. Okay, you can see him emptying the box here. So they've got a 5-1 box. Brandon Staley would be popping a boner right now. Cutting edge analysis in this thing right here. Okay, they gum it up. Packers get the first down. We'll watch the end zone cut here. So now they got. I'm not a huge fan of this, and I understand, but it's 3rd and 1. Get your fucking ass in the C gap. If you're the edge defender, get in the C gap. It's 3rd and 1. Get in the C. You play the front side A. I'll play the front side A. You play the back side A. Make the ball roll off the table. Let the corner come here and throw hands on the tight end, or get Bosa. I think Bosa go. Okay, so Bosa goes to a 6, so I'm cool with that. So Bosa's going to knife down inside, but we got a problem here. 56
better make this play.
56 has got to make that play.
Yeah, and there's different ways to teach the nose and bear defense. Sometimes if you've got a really good nose, you let them win A to A, and the backer makes it right. Sometimes the nose is playing mandatory back half the block, so the backer can play front side. Sometimes they mix it up. They tell the nose, "Hey, win front side, and let the backer play backside." But they almost get away with one right there.
The Niners, here's a duo.
It's interesting them having 56 right there, because he's really like he's in like an outside linebacker / like, okay, I can be an edge rusher, but he ain't to have him down there in the mix on a short yardage situation. That's interesting.
That's when you cuss out the D-line coach. Well, and especially at the point of attack. So to your point, so let's say they roll with this crew right here.
Because he was just a pure off-ball linebacker for the Rams.
Wow. Well, and here's the problem. If you want a big sumbitch over here, because the ball's going to, and I get they move the back and everything, but either way, the point of attack, this ball is either going to cut back, or if the back's over here, it's going to cut out front side, right? Because you have a locked-in edge defender. Put Armstead's ass over here. He's got the wrong hand down. He looks like, and he's got his hand, I mean, like this, and I get, listen, the Niners D-line coach is phenomenal. They got edge rushers coming out of their ass. It's crazy. Like, Bosa gets hurt, and they're like, no big deal. NBD, just going to throw in some dude. who never heard of, and then he just looks like Lawrence fucking Taylor. But this ain't it. I mean, it's 3rd and 1. You got a guy who's 250 with his hand back like he's about to start a sprint, and then he just gets dug the fuck. I just thought that's where you outsmart yourself. Now, the Niners here are good against duo because they play so fast downhill. I mean, again, it's just 51 here. This is a note by Ben. This is awesome. Watch 51 here. He is protecting this gap. You know it's not zone because he's cut it off almost like power, like the backside of power. It's almost like a hinge. He doesn't hinge, but like you would not do this on zone. In zone, you'd block out. 51 knows that ball ain't getting running here. So he's going to fold back over the top.
Yep.
Makes the play. That's a great play.
Yep. That's an awesome play. Great
Here's
job.
a classic RPO fit. This is RPO 101. Okay, you got 2x2 gun strong. So they're playing quarters. They're disguising it like he's down. They're going to play quarter, half. And they're pressing out here, so they make it look like one. But here is the classic principle. The overhang away from the back is in the run fit. The overhang, who you could call him or him, depending on what you're looking at. If it's 3 deep, it's this guy. If it's too high, it's this guy, is to the back, so he is out of the run fit. You can see the 3 technique is set to the tight end. So the open B gap fit, what they end up doing here is they're going to fall back fit. TCU called this gun scoot. So what's going to happen is if they run zone, 57 is going to play the cutback out into the C gap. Warner's going to play the A, which leaves the B open. The B gap here is going to be covered by the nickel. He is away from the running back, so he is in the run fit. And this is when you need this. And you can either cut up your front, and this is why I always think compressed splits are, well, it's not really compressed splits, so that's not fair. I was going to give shit to compressed splits. Watch the nickel flash in here. Warner shows color. Back's going to cut it out. Bam.
57's fitting it proper too. He understands. Now he's stacking. But he's ready to fall back if need be.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all on the same page.
And they have to because they are playing halves. He's going to back up. And I'm sure there's some sort of tell with 81 being on the line and with the back to him. So I bet you they run this shit right here with him going out to the flat on another play. And so 57 has to fall fit back. 54 has to fall fit here. Nickel's in the B gap. Sorry, I overshot that with my drawing. Just how you draw it up. Or you can spike the end and make the ball go outside.
Yep, great fit.
Here's your
especially
first
from a team
nickel
that doesn't
fire.
play a lot of that.
What's that, Ben?
That's a great fit, especially from a team that doesn't play a lot of that. That's great execution.
Here's just a nickel fire. The line slants. I noticed they didn't do a lot of this, but a great timing of this makes the ball cut back out. So I was wrong earlier. It's 3rd and 1. They make the play, but I was wrong earlier. I said the Packers abandoned the run. It's not that they abandoned the run. It's just the Niners, earlier in the game, they were getting their ass kicked up front, and now they're being the hammer, not the nail. Plus 93 is a beast.
Yeah.
Watch him try to move his ass.
And some of it, I think, too, was just kind of like the way the game was going. Like the 40, at this point, the score is what, 10-3?
Yes.
I mean, you're late in the 3rd quarter. It's 10-3. Their offense hasn't done 7-3. Their offense hasn't done anything against you. You're playing really good on defense. It's not a shootout. You don't need to go gung ho. They're able to kind of stick with the run longer than normal, I think.
Yeah. So, next play, 1st and 10. They just got a first down running. They're inside the 50. Alert a shot play, right, Croc? You're in the huddle saying, hey, it's 1st and 10 past the 50. Alert shot. Here it comes. Yeah. This is why you bangle the spear or whatever the hell Saban calls it, where you take the middle of the field defender. So in 3 deep, what you would do is you would have on this deep over. I think the over's coming from the other side. I'm sorry. So you would have this guy take the over. He would take this guy, and then he would climb and take the guy opposite. In cover 1, what you want to do is you want to pass the rat off. So in one like this, what can happen is the rat can drop, and you escort this crosser to the rat, and then the corner will escort and then climb to play the deep over. The Niners do not do that. And here's what happens. And this is why teams do this shit. Sometimes people see complicated stuff like this and they say, oh, you don't need all that shit. It's just cover one. Just play man. Blah, blah, blah. Back in my day, we didn't have rat in the hole. Fuck all that. This is why they do it. Right there. He's dead. And it's on Agent 17. He's got the over. The nickel's got to play outside leverage because the free safety's there. But they got no help. And this is why people do this. So if if this was me and we were playing this shit right here, okay, they get the play action fake. Now, this is kind of hard because the backers are sucked up. But what I would try to do is I would try to pass with these two then. So as they're squeezing it, take this and then climb if you can. And I know you might say, well, how do you do that pre-snap? That sounds crazy. Now, somebody in the chat asked earlier, I'm going to do some technology here. Hold on, I'm getting there. Mike Thomas asked, are there situations when spot drop is generally better than zone match? If so, when? I normally would say never unless you're compressed. This is where you want to drop. You want to let, with the compressed sets, let it sort itself out. I'm going to skip ahead because I got all these drawings that won't erase. But you see, switch that off right there. And because otherwise you can't defend this. How can you? The backers are sucked up. Your help's in the middle, but they've been pulled up. And that is one of the disadvantages of playing aggressive linebackers. You can't have it both ways, though. You come up, they throw it over your head. You stay back, they just hand the ball off all night. Good throw, good catch, 25-yard game. It's the second most explosive play of the game besides the bus. Here's the end zone.
The only way the safety could have helped there is if he would have stayed square, he would have been in position to put his foot in the ground and get downhill. But once he opened up and then Adams flattened his route off, it's virtually impossible to guard from after that. And
then the next time if they do that, so that's another way you could do it. The problem is you do that and then they just hit this next. But again, look who's on the ball. That tells you he's the one that's going to go deep. Right? Like, you wouldn't run a deep post with a guy off like that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, would you agree with that?
Yep, correct.
Ben, what were you going to say? I know we're not just having three people here. We're talking over each other a little bit. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all good. I was just going to pontificate. The last time we talked about the possible Bengal, it wasn't Devontae running the big post, which is the route you would throw if they were Bengling and you were trying to take advantage of it to hit the big strike. He had the circus route. So maybe, and we wondered, like, how come, like, why didn't they? This seems like the counter play, but maybe that first play was the information play. Hey, are they going to Bengal these play action cover threes or are they not? If they are going to Bengal it, then we run Adams on the post. Now that we know they're not going to, now we just run him on a deep cross and let him run away from leverage on the play action, and that's our play now. Whereas if they had jumped the over route on the first play, then they say, okay, now 17 is going to run the big post for the touchdown, and somebody else is going to run the deep crosser. We'll let the post player jump the guy we have no intention to throw the ball to.
And so to summarize what Ben's saying is, again, how are they going to play this guy? On the first play, they had Adams fake like he was running the over and go out, and they brought the deep over. The Niners did not jump the deep over. So what they said was, okay, they're going to keep the safety high. Let's put Adams on the deep over. Let him stay high and just run away from it as fast as he can, and then hit him.
Yeah,
this is awesome, man. Croc, thanks so much for coming on, man. This is a lot of fun.
Having someone that Croc's on the show. This is awesome.
Yeah, not only, but he can sit there and give a player's perspective. I mean, you coach people. I could coach people till the day I die. Coach people for 80 years. It's still not the same as actually getting your ass out there, and definitely getting your ass out there with the NFL logo on the field. You know what I mean? Like,
no question.
All right, I think D'Amico's is getting a little pissed. He's starting to run, so they're going to bring the strong safety through the C gap. Same exact play, but now they have a deep corner route with it. And now they just lose Adams. And he gets open. They say it's incomplete. There's a 5-yard gain somewhere. Was this the holding call with the automatic first down?
Yeah. And I was confused, too, because I thought he got both feet down.
What a crock of shit that call is. Here's the corner making the safety right here on a screen. This is a great job. We're buzzing down to 3 week. Also, the Packers do a much better job disguising the throw and go. The first time when Warner sniffed it out, they were like, it was obvious as shit. The guy like turned his shoulder sideways and let him go. I mean, that's like you tell all your high school kids. If you're getting in the back, if you haven't been able to get in the backfield all day, and all of a sudden you get your ass back in there with no problem, something's up. You ain't that good.
Something's wrong.
You ain't that good.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
If it seems too good to be true, it is. Yeah, this is like we've watched some crack and replace. You know, you showed the toss crack, and the reason it cleared up so quick was because the linebacker 51 triggered like a banshee, and now the corner knows exactly what his work is. The safety here needs to just trigger, go, right? Don't let Devontae Adams block you. Trigger right now and clear it up for the safety. Make the ball bounce and get it to your guy out there. Here, he almost kind of, they almost get. I can't really say it on the show, but I think we all know what coaches say about 2 and 1. But like,
no, I don't know. You have to text that one to me. I always say 2 on 1 and 1 on none, but
no. All right, I'll text it to you.
We'll do Vass after hours.
They almost get stuck outside here. Both get stuck outside the crack block because the safety jumps outside of it. You cannot play that. You got to get downhill, trigger. Don't be blocked by a wide receiver, man. That ain't it. That ain't gonna get it.
Croc, talk to me. Crack replace. I told our guys, I don't give a shit if you play inside or outside, but you better get there fucking fast, straight ahead. Because as we always talk about on the show is so much stuff is cleaned up by pressing. Like we talked about, like you asked me why they bring all those guys in on that bunch. And by having them up there, it cleaned up the reads for the DBs, right?
Yeah.
That's what we said. It was on Crack Replace. I don't give a shit so much if you fit. I mean, I care, but I don't want you thinking about it. I want you can think about it as you do this. You know what I mean? So, like, how were you, well, you play corner, but when you would crack replace, like, were you more worried about your horizontal leverage or getting to the line of scrimmage and cleaning up the read? I'm talking about the guy that's replacing the crack, not the guy. The guy fitting outside's got to fit outside.
Right. Now you got.
What are your thoughts on that?
You can't waste any time crack replacing. Like it's got to be right now, especially on the screen.
Yeah, that clears up everything, and the safety does make the corner right. And this is a great play. We got to get that. We got to add that to Adams' repertoire. That ain't it blocking wise.
It's tough though because that's almost like a I don't even know what to call it, like an inverted like crack replace.
Yeah.
You know, like you're used to seeing a guy crack down the outside, then you have to fill that gap. You know, as a corner.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a little different because the safety got there before the corner.
All right, this is some crazy shit right here. This is only in the NFL you see this. So they're going, and I know we joke around about FIB in the NFL. There's no such thing with it. The hatches being 9 3/4 yards apart. But they do have trips to the short side, and they're almost playing like the Oklahoma concept or whatever that Georgia plays in the red zone, but they're playing it pretty, I mean, it's the 18-yard line. Where they're basically, if 2 goes out, the safety replaces it, and then this guy works to number 1, and then the corner plays high for the 7 cut.
Yeah.
But this scares the shit out of me with Agent 17 here. But they're playing a 3-over-2. Basically what they're doing is they're playing 1-on-1 here unless he goes out. Okay? And then these 2 guys, these 3 are comboing these 2. And basically, I don't know what's with huddle. It won't let me erase. Again, he's out. He jumps this. Corner stays high for the double move. Then I'm going to play the in-breaking route. That's also a running back, too. So that changes the math on it. Okay? If he is vertical, then I'm going to carry, and then I'm going to push to 1. And if he's inside, I'll take it, and then I'll work in combo 1. Simple concept. You just don't usually see it this high in the red zone. That's something you see from the 12 to the 8 and in. Anyway. Oh, shit. We got to watch the play. I'm losing it. I know Croc's had a long day. I'm trying to get him out of here. I'm trying to get him as long as I can, but keep it moving. I know we're way over.
You're good. This is a good job by the corner.
Absolutely.
If let's say if this is quarters kind of to the field, right, or that type of concept, we would call this cover 4 nail. So if it's kind of if 2 is, or if you're when you're to the field like that and that's a long run for the nickel guy, then obviously you're going to play more like his cover two, like treating him like a flat, like the corner's going to treat him like a flat player. I would like to see the corner not get out as quick, right? Because he already started creating so much space, and then now obviously he still makes a good play, but there is a potential opportunity for a pick, especially if the safety is playing it more like he's a too high guy. So the corner kind of getting out, he makes it to where he can make the tackle, but that's all he's going to do when there could be an opportunity for a pick six.
Here's what I don't understand, Croc and Ben. This is what I don't get. We know the Niners are playing, I call it nail palms, two read, nail, whatever you call it, right? Okay,
Yeah.
You know they're playing this, but they keep like hesitating on their release. The way to beat this shit is to have this guy go shit hot as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And then this guy can't defend this with this stall release here. Well, I don't think he stalled. And I got all these let me turn the annotations off real quick. Because I drew so many damn drawings and they keep stopping and won't let me erase it. He's he's stalling. They haven't thrown double hits all day long. Like you're not fooling anybody. Get your ass and go vertical, pin him back here, and hit this here. By doing this, all you're doing is activating that guy, and now he can get over the top. I don't know. I'm not trying. You get stick and go on the outside. But I hate second guessing a guy like Matt LaFleur, but damn. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a few plays.
You definitely don't want to have a guy stutter when the concept is for two to run it out. So why would I have the outside guy stutter and potentially hold the corner there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Get him to kind of stop his feet just so he can be in a better position to trigger on two coming out.
Yeah, you want to do that if you're going to stall like early in the game, because that's the third time they run this play. First time they stalled, it was quarters. I think before you came on, Adams ran the option route. So the nickel was outside. It was 2x2 back weak. So he stalled, nickel jumped outside, he banged it inside, hit it for a slant, big gain. The second time he stalled and went out, the corner didn't take it, but he looked to the other side. Then that time the corner took it, so you can see they're making adjustments in game, or they're saying, hey, let's play it. Sometimes it's a revolving door. So you'll say, hey, first time they do this route, you're going to play it like this. Then the second time, you're going to play it like this. And then the third time, you're either going to play it a third way, you're going to go back to playing how you played the first time. You do that a lot in empty, right? You say, okay, our first empty check in a game is going to be this. Our second empty check is going to be this. And then if it's beyond that, we're going to go back to the first check until we get to the sideline, and then we'll kind of we'll see what they're doing in empty to make it go, right? Like we've all done that. But what's interesting is, what is the worst place to play true cover two? Is down in the red zone, because you got no overlap on the whole shot. So I'm just surprised they didn't just put somebody bigger outside and have him speed outside release. And I know that what's his name was out this game, but put St. Brown out there and let his ass run an MOR, just chuck him the ball. Like, you didn't see any outside like deep shots. No. I thought that was interesting. All right, here's a good disguise. We got 11 personnel rather, second and 10 from the second and goal from the 10. The Niners are in nickel. So they are playing, it looks like 3 deep coverage. It looks like 3 weak. Now, what gives it away that it's not 3 weak is the backers are not slid over. Let me get the film up. Okay. So this is my only issue with and this is one of those 6-way and way, half dozen other things. When we seen them disguised with the backers early on, Croc, before you got in here, they got out of position. But here, they're just saying, hey, we're going to play the safety rotation late. It almost looks like one guy short of picket fence defense down here, although I don't think you want to play picket fence in the 10-yard line. They double Adams. 33 is not going to win you the game out here more than 17. I mean, he falls down when he catches the ball. I mean, that's a pretty good test right there, who you're not worried about. The guy who can barely run correctly or Devontae. Although you see the DN fall down too. It looks like he's bear crawling. Watch my man right here. That ain't it. But they're playing off. They're able to see everything. And I tell you what, man, slant arrow is not a great play versus too high. And so I don't know
Right.
if they're checking it or they're expecting him to play more 3 deep here.
Yeah, maybe.
First of all, this is a bad look. I know you want to get 17 the ball, but this is where, the effect of having somebody as good as 17 is can fuck you up. And I know you're like, how does that make sense? How can that make sense? How could having Davante Adams fuck you up? You're in a critical situation. The good play is here. They're short. They're out leveraged up here. It's stick, right?
Yeah, you got a completion all day.
You got a completion. If you don't have that, you bang this route right here, right? Both those guys are open. And he's throwing where you got 3-on-2 versus 2-on-2, and they're both out leveraged. That's where having a guy like an Adams can hurt you if you rely on him too much. Because you're not letting the scheme talk to you. You're letting the player. And I understand you want to get the ball, the best player of the ball in those situations, but I'm sorry. Fred Warner's good, but he ain't good enough to cover a stick route out here. Especially if you look off and then bang this back here. I mean, he's open. I don't know. Just my opinion. They're trying to get one-on-one here for Adams on a sack. Ben, talk us through this.
All right. So earlier in the game, we talked about basically this red zone coverage they're playing, where 54 has 3 vertical. He's basically got all of 3, and then they're playing quarters over 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, all right, they've got Davante in the slot and to the 3-by-1 side, so he's number 2 there. All right, so they're trying to use the 49ers coverage against them. They've seen them play it numerous times, and they say, all right, this is their red zone coverage this week. Here's how we're going to attack it. So they clear out the middle of the field with number 3 running vertical, and then they're just trying to get Davante here on a double move, knowing that when this route declares short, the nickel's going to buy it. So basically he's trying to double move the nickel, and the nickel's in great body position. He does not jump underneath, which is a common thing you see in the red zone because, you're always taught make the ball go through you or over you, right? Completions are touchdowns in the red area. But the nickel's in great the nickel's in great position here to play this double move. Davante tries the double move, runs right into him. It's not open, and they've kind of got everybody and everything else covered up. And then Rodgers takes the sack because he's so locked in on Davante. But this is a great play by the nickel because really on paper this is a great play for Green Bay. They've got exactly what they want. They got exactly the coverage they want. But the nickel makes a great play here, saves the touchdown, and they get a sack. So this was
Talk to me though. Okay, so I understand the concept. You're running Buffalo 7, Indy chair. The play's got a million names and go. But here's my only bitch with this play, right? And I get what you're saying is 100% correct. But I think this could be a better play design. And again, I know I'm questioning somebody right off the Sean McVay tree, so I'm probably going to get struck down to hell by the football gods. But if you're going to run an and go with a corner, don't you think it would have been better to stick this out and then break it in? Because he runs in, so he starts to run in, but then you can only go up, but that guy's right there. So even if he does beat him, let's say he beats him right here. Well, shit, this guy can cover him, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ben, am I missing something here?
No, I agree. The spacing here isn't great.
Maybe Davante Adams rushed his route a little bit. I mean, there could be that. So it looks like the timing is off a little bit.
I mean, you would think you'd want to whip, you'd want to get him whipping outside because, again, we've seen this option route game all game long and then snap it violently back in here because he's going to clear out. Because think about it. Look with this window right there.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't. Okay, huddle. No.
Kyle Shanahan runs
huddle.
that route we're talking about. Kyle Shanahan has his guys run that a lot, but when he does do it, there is somebody clearing it out. And it just gives you more time for the routes to develop and then that space kind of open up.
Look at the space in here. But he runs inside and then he goes, oh shit, and then he tries to bully him. And this is the 5'9" guy you've been talking about, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and he just sits down in the way. I love this from Ben. Green Bay sure likes this play.
Yeah, this conceptually, I mean, what is this, the 4th, 5th time we've seen them put St. Brown in there? And the 49ers have responded the same way almost every time.
Well, and I don't want to, I'm going to slander. St. Brown would hit water if he fell out of a boat. He's Sarmin triple ply with the aloe and the little bears on him. the cute little bears. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, who's he blocking? Fucking Greenlaw or Lazard? I'm sorry. Man, he caught a stray there. Whatever. I mean, who's he supposed to block here? He's gonna block the fucking safety.
Yeah.
So all you've done here is now and I get it. They thought they were too high. Okay, again, this is where disguise. People think disguise is like, oh, it tricks the quarterbacks. It also tricks the line.
Yeah.
Okay, and they slant too. So now you're getting it slant back to the tight end. So Greenlaw's going to play the A. Warner's going to play the B. That's Tart, right? He's going to play the C. And with this guy inserting here, all you're doing is you bringing more people to the party. I don't understand the concept of bringing people into the party and then not rolling the ball off the table. Now, I want to talk about this. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because with this angle that this guy goes at, he can take away the zone cut and the ball rolling off the table with duo. Because this is one of the times where you don't want to be square. Because I think if he was square, I think he could suck him in and go out. And this may be, and I'm just speaking freely here, and Croc, maybe you could give me some insight. Since the beginning of time in football, if you're a cutback player, you're supposed to be square, right?
Yep.
But I'm thinking, again, and I'm just spitballing here, I'm thinking with the duo, the proliferation of duo, that they've changed how these corners are attacking, because if you come in with your pecker pointed inside at a 45, you can play the inside zone and fold it, and you can redirect easier and be in the line to cut off the duo bounce rather than play like the old fence rule and then having to redirect back outside. I don't know. I could just be making that shit up, but he forces him back inside because he knows right here, where's he going to go? His dick is pointing right at the hip. If he tries to go out, bam, he's got it. If he tries to cut off this, bam, he's got it. Where if he is square and deeper, he can set him up, rope-a-dope his ass, and cut it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just, again, we're guessing here, right? All right, we got 6 plays left.
Green Bay needs to run wide pop off that look.
Yes, and they need to throw a deep ball outside, for God's sake. You got fucking, I mean, seriously, have we seen a deep play outside?
No.
Nope, not at all.
All right, this is from the Zimmer tree. This is called split, scotch, palms, check white, and we have a coffee house sighting out in the wild. I don't know what I would play for coffee house, but whatever. All right, what scotch is? It is a passing strength call. It's the blitz that everybody's seen in the NFL. You're going to get here, backer's going to go, safety's going to come underneath the end. Some people call that a lion. Okay. The end of the boundary is going to drop. Actually, no. They added on here. So this ends up being a 6-man pressure. So they're playing fire zone. With the back strong to the 3-by-1, I think he is adding. If the back is weak, okay, the end would have to take him, or the backer would have to take him. Okay, the problem is the backer don't drop. I mean, there's an issue here. So they can switch this. Now, this is the Zimmer tree. I don't know this to be true. But in the Zimmer tree, they won't necessarily bring... like most people before from a side, right?
Yeah.
But Zimmer will bring one of these two based off the point of the center. So let's see if we get a point indicator here. Do we see a point? I don't see a point.
No.
Maybe so what they're going to do is they're going to make it look like he's dropping. So let's go to the end zone now. Okay.
Hey, so first, just because I'm nerding out, you said the call was split, scotch, palms,
check white.
White. So
white is their fire zone, their 3 fire zone to 3-by-1.
Yeah. So palms check white is a way to orient your coverage based on the formation.
Yep.
If it's 2-by-2, which it was originally, 81 was on the other side. They're actually going to play. They're going to pressure and play palms coverage. When it motions to 3-by-1, now they're checking white or 3 fire zone coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see the inside backers on the motion they're pointing up to the sky. I'm assuming they're saying, "Hey, it's sky coverage now. We're going 3 sky here. It's not palms anymore." So that's what you're seeing these backers do.
And they're rotating strong. Actually, no,
Yeah,
I'm
they're
sorry.
not-
Hold on. Let me go back. These next 2 plays are 2 of the most important, but like here's what they're also doing. They're playing 3 fire zone, but they've realized they're only throwing to 2 people in this game, okay?
Yep.
This guy and that guy. So it looks like halves. It looks like it's quarter half. And if you were to believe the people are good friends at PFF, they think it's quarter half. It ain't fucking quarter half.
No, sir.
It's thirds, and he is saying, I'm playing the quarterback. Uh-oh. Okay, we got the clicker going now. It went out for a second. They're just playing man on the backside. Greenlaw's going to play hot to 3. The nickel's going to play seam flat on 2. Corner's playing fire zone man. Backside corner's playing fire zone man. He is in the thirds. Rodgers looks straight over here. There's your back shoulder, incomplete. Now.
That was bad technique by the cornerback, too.
Not at all, my friend. Let's watch it. Let's see if we can get a good look at it. Up top.
Yeah, watch the corner where you pause it. Right there, pause it. You can't shoot your outside hand on the outside release. You'll lock that hip. So now what you'll see is when he goes to turn and run, he really has to unlock that hip and flip all the way around. But that kind of puts you in a state of panic. So you see he's never like comfortable. He's never feels like he has the receiver in control. And then the ball is thrown right now. So luckily for him, he didn't get a pass interference call because he would not have been able to react any type of way to the ball thrown. So, yeah, you don't want to shoot your outside hand, especially on the outside release. That it'll lock that hip.
Number one thing we tell corners on day one, Croc, couldn't agree with you more. But here's the problem with not running vertical routes. Is even though he's beat, he knows he didn't have to worry about verticals because he ain't going to run past him. Any other offense, that's a fade, right?
Well, this is Josh Norman's like first play he came in the game.
Yeah, but if he runs by his ass, that might be a touchdown.
That was good coverage by him. He did a good job recovering after the.
Let's watch the coffee house. Coffee house is an old term used for backers that fake like they're going to drop, and then they go. And why it's really powerful here is with the protection is you're going to see him spike inside, and he's going to act like he's going to go, and then he's going to blitz the B gap, I believe. I hope I got this one right. Yep. And now they got 2-on-1 on the back. The back sees the nickel coming. Nobody's got Warner. But Warner sacks Rodgers if he doesn't get the ball out. So it actually is a good thing they threw the back shoulder and he didn't hold on to it for longer, or it's a pick. And this is why, even if you don't coffee house, even if you do this, they're half sliding away. So they're screwed. The only way they could pick this up, and if 71 bumps back, bump here, and then he picks up the blitzer. Good luck. Okay, now, very next play. Split west, palms, check white. This is the opposite. Whiskey and scotch go together. Scotch and whiskey in the Zimmer tree is you're going underneath and the end is coming up. If you call south or west, it's just off the edge and the line is slanting. Now, real quick, give you a little history. Everybody in the NFL used to run this blitz. Okay, they would drop out. They would contain here. They'd bring one of these cats. They would do this, and then they would do the super stick and bring the nickel off the edge, right? Back in the late 2000s, that was the blitz that everybody ran. Here's the problem. Let's say Bosa's to the blitz. Let's say Bosa's over here now, and you're having your $70 million pass rusher super fucking long stick, and that's stupid. So what guys started doing is they started just rushing hard outside and turning them loose without the stunt. Now, I'm cool with the tech stunt, but with this crap, with the blitzer, I'm cool with the retext, but with this guy going, would have to go all the way around. So that's one big adjustment if you've seen from that. Now, here's West. Okay, this is now, we talked about this early on. I know we're almost damn near 3 hours in. This was a good game, though. I mean, it's a damn near divisional championship game. We got to put our time in. Now they got their weak safety up on the line, and they're going to bring him. Finally, it's only taken fucking 3.5 quarters. Okay? Now they're going to bring it. They're going to drop Warner. The coverage is still the same. It's still 3 deep fire zone, and they're leaning to Adams. Now Adams takes an inside release, and the safety is playing it. It's 3rd and 8. We talked about this earlier with Belichick. Got to have it down. You know he's going to Adams. I know he's going to Adams. The Niners know he's going to Adams. So instead of doing some goofy shit and running his ass down the middle of the field, he said, hey, sit at the sticks. He sees Adams take an inside release, which means he is coming to him. Probably going to run a post, or it's 3rd and 8, so probably a curl. Snap of the ball. He's going to sit down. There it is. Take away the best player. Sack. Packers got a punt. Loss of 11 yards. Let's watch the end zone. Again, this is called split is the front. West means you're coming from the weak side. Palms check white. Again, it's palms. 2x2. 3 fire zone to 3x1. Now, the one thing that the Niners don't do is because this guy, you know they ain't throwing him on a chip flat route on 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8. They said, fuck it. We ain't dropping no damn ends. We're bringing it. We're bringing 6. And I'll say this for D'Amico. When his balls were on the line, he fucking brought it. And here it is.
He did. Which is completely contrary to their MO. They are not a pressure team.
Yeah.
Now, here's the benefit of this. Now, normally you'd want it with this fan, you'd want a super stick. But again, you want your $80 million pass rusher doing that or however much money he makes. So go inside. The problem is you get 2 in the same gap. But it ends up, Armstead just busts through like the fucking Kool-Aid man and gets his long-ass arms on him. Sack, punt, team alert.
About you
All
fix
right.
that fucking wall before my dad gets home from work.
Yeah, last 4 plays. We're going to set the record tonight. All right. 1st and 10. Playing 3 buzz. 3 buzz strong, okay? Is this a screen? I don't know what this is.
No. So here's what I thought, okay? Like, the offensive line is run blocking.
They're
right?
run blocking, yeah.
They're run blocking, all right? And he's got something on with Devontae here. So last time, this is 12 personnel, is it not? Yeah, this is 12
It's 12,
personnel.
yeah, and the Niners are in base.
And the 49ers are in base, and they have played a ton of the 1 string, and they've played 3 buzz versus this formation right here. It's always been strong rotation. The corner's off. He thinks he's just going to stand up and throw this to Devontae for an easy completion to get their drive started, right? They've got a run play called. This is just between him and Devontae. And he's got a soft corner. He's going to take it. But for some reason, I don't know if this is something they talked about on the sideline, you know, as an adjustment they saw, or if 51's got voodoo powers, or he knew what the signal to Adams was. But my man just goes absolutely – I mean, he's getting a run read, and he just goes flying out here buzzing this thing, and it makes Rodgers pull the ball down.
Do you think he got cussed out because that play we talked about where he didn't get out there fast enough?
Yeah, maybe.
Never underestimate the power of getting cussed out on the sideline. Croc, vouch for me here now.
Yeah.
Believe me, you won't forget that
we
shit.
were talking about that. He kind of slow played it a little bit that time before, and I talked about the corner kind of showing something a little too soon. But if they're going to play like this, then yeah, you're fine with.
And maybe they baited him into it. Maybe last time they said, "Hey, last time we showed off, he ran this quick route, so we'll show off and we'll buzz out." And now Rodgers outsmarts himself.
Yeah, all of those are like we've said a bunch of times. Unless we sit in those meetings or you're on the sideline for the in-game adjustments, you're just guessing. And so Rodgers just has to eat this one.
Yeah, he got the Rodgers rate on this play. I've been wanting to say that. That don't even make any fucking sense, but I've been wanting to sneak that in the whole damn night, so I'm sneaking it in. Also, here's what they're doing in the run game. Here's where 3 buzz is awesome and where it helps them. It allows him, even though he should be in the run fit because he's away, he's out of the fit with the 3 technique away from the tight end. Now, they may slant. Okay, so I'm wrong. I'm sorry. So there you go. So see, I'm wrong too. I was going to say with them setting the 3 this way, they can put him here, and bring this guy down here and get him the butt to really get him out of run responsibilities. But they slant. And by slanting, Yeah, there must have been something, man. I wish I could see this from the very. Well, let's see. I don't
Yeah,
know
how
what
far
he
back can you
sees
go?
here.
Does he get his hand signal or something?
I don't. Well, okay. So this is what I'm thinking. I don't know if they're signaling sky. I think you're right. They're signaling sky because Georgia, their linemen will go with their hands up. So if you guys ever watch Georgia, they'll linemen. If you ever watch them, they'll point their hand up, and they're not the only ones to do it. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but they're letting them know it's a pass stance, right? And I helped a team this year. You want to see some savage? I helped a team this year that played an I team, and it was sky coverage on the backside with inverted halves. But if they gave him one of these, it checked to bracket the X because they knew it was going to be run. And the back depth gave it away, but back depth is hard to see, especially in the eye when they're stacked like that. You can't see if you're the middle linebacker, you can't see if it's a yard cheated up. You have to give that to one of the ends or one of the edge guys that can see through the backfield, and you could see the ends, and they would start doing this, and the safety would go solid out, and he'd fucking bail out of the stadium. Right, every time, baby. Every time. Yeah, now that, my friends, is some advanced shit right there. What's up, Croc?
Especially for high school. There are little keys that you can get just off of somebody's stance. Mm-hmm. Sometimes if there's something that, and coaches do a good job of picking up on this, maybe some players that are smarter than me, but I've been tipped off by my coaches. They'll tell us, like, hey, if it's this down and he's standing like this is what's coming. So sometimes just their stance gives something away. Or like you said, the stance of a running back or the running back's depth where you're like, oh, this is not a run player. There are little telltales that all offenses have.
Can I tell you the craziest one I ever uncovered? Can you indulge me with a minute-long story, please? Because I'm proud. I'm still proud of this shit. So I'm at Hartnell College. I don't even want to say what school it is because I don't want to give away the tell or who did it. So I'm watching, and this, swear to God, this is true, on my mother's grave. We're in a meeting, and I'm sitting in the back, and I'm watching, and the team was dark blue, and the O-line coach wore bright red, and I knew the O-line, I knew of him. He was a Gilroy guy where I lived, and so, you know, I was kind of painting, oh, there's so-and-so, and I noticed something with him. This is a coach. And I noticed something, and I went, this can't be right. I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to get laughed out of here until the end of the meeting. So we get to the end. I was like, guys, I got to run past Tell. They said, what is it? And I said, the coach. They said, the coach. I said, when it's a run, he stands up. When it was a pass, he would bend down and put his hands on his knees and be like hunched over. They said, get the fuck out of here. I said, let's speed watch the game. 97% accuracy. So there's it by the coach. And had he not been dressed up like the Kool-Aid Man, second Kool-Aid Man reference of the night, I would have never spotted that shit. But for some reason, I was like, well, he's up, he's down. Because Keith Burns would always say, see everything. See everything. I know a school that an opponent of somebody I help, when it's a run, the OC stands about 2 yards behind the ball. When it's a long pass, he moves his ass back 15 yards. They're everywhere, man. They're fucking everywhere. Be on the lookout. BSC, what school do you think it is? I bet $1 million you don't know what school this is. Maybe I did when I said Gilroy. I gave it away. If you guess it on the first shot in the chat, I will confirm it. And then I'm going to disappear. He ain't there anymore, but he's around. All right, last 3 plays. 1st and 15. 3-week buzz. Just 3 week. Here's what I noticed too. Okay, real quick, boys. Last couple plays. Did Matt LaFleur have a stroke in the fucking last series? They were called. First of all, you got that play where he ran what the fuck that play was that they ran. Then they're running all hitch. Now, we know the Niners don't get much depth on their 3D. Look here. I mean, they're just sitting on these routes, so they're going to throw. I mean, they get 4 yards, but I mean, fellas, it's tie game with 4 minutes left.
It's the down and distance might have something to do with it. They got a 5-yard penalty for linemen downfield on that scramble by
shit,
Aaron.
he's
So
gonna
maybe
guess it.
he's just trying to get some yards back to get a manageable third down.
Oh shit, he guessed it. BSC, what year? BSC, what year did you play at Palmer? I might have coached against you. Yeah, I just was like, we get our first pass twist. I don't know what 94 is doing. I think he's doing his own thing here. Because they're running a tackle nose game, and he just dives inside.
Yeah,
What he's doing.
I don't know what
All right, so it's 1st and 15. So they hit the hitch. Oh no! So that was before I was in. Actually, no. That's the years I was in high school. Who was that bad at? You got it right, BSC. It's Gav. It was Gav. Andy Martinez, the O-line coach. Wow. That's fucking crazy. Okay, you got 2nd and 11. You got 3-week buzz. They're playing a pseudo bracket. So now they're mugged up.
Well, this is me being goofy again. I talked about like number 3 is this tight end in here. He's going to chip so they can get the ball down the field, right? So the weak hook player's got 3 up. He knows 3 up's not an issue, right? And so now when he doesn't have anybody running the bender route to him, now he can just kind of sit and give some body presence to 17, who's back here at the X.
This is where compressed splits fuck you too. If they had normal splits and he just ran a snap out, no chance he's getting there. 0% chance. Yeah, Palma, Brett. I used to coach against Palma. This is crazy. BSC, who was the guy at Palma that may have been the year before you? Not Luke something. He was a fullback. He was like crazy. Won player of the year. It might have been 02 or 03. Dude like crushed people's souls. Maybe it was 04, 05. You'll say, as soon as you say it, I'll know it. Some Italian name. He sounds like he's from the mob. Yeah, I'm just like, they're running smash out of compress. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, it was just like, LaFleur's 4-year-old started calling plays. Like, it was, I don't even know if he has kids. No way. Coleman's dad played at Palma. This is insane. All right, last play. My notes is, what the fuck is this? Okay, and I mean with the Niners. Okay.
So the Niners gave this up on the final drive of their first matchup. It was Devontae Adams, and they hit him on the dig.
Okay.
Which was wide open.
Guys, I don't have any analysis for what the fuck the Niners are doing here. I don't know if D'Amico had seen, or no, this was the night before. I was gonna say I didn't know if D'Amico had seen Todd Bowles make a call and wanted to say one up his ass. But no, wait, was this game was Saturday night? Yeah. I don't know what blitz this is. I don't know. They're bringing both safeties from depth. They got their dime standing in the middle of the field. This is when you drink the ayahuasca and you start getting the pen out. I don't know what this is. I mean, it's like eyes coverage. Like you got 2 under 3 deep, right? So you got 1, 2. This is a call you make in like the red area on a rundown or something. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, it confuses the shit out of him to where he throws a ball. I mean, he throws a post into the coverage. But, I mean, this is where again, I'm going to say this again, and I know people are going to say, oh my God, you're crazy. When you have a guy that you rely on too much, fucking Lazard is wide open. It's not even close. I'm gonna find out that guy's name. What's BSC? Tweet me or some shit so I can follow you on Twitter. But I don't understand what is going on here. They're bringing the safeties from way back.
Yeah, this is some last page
of the guys going. Do you think there was kind of a bust there with both safeties going? Maybe only one was supposed to go from depth.
Honestly, brother, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen. I'm gonna watch the Y copy again, and I know it's empty. Is it empty? Yeah, I mean, it's empty with the tight end. They're chipping.
It's double empty. I don't know if someone's playing the empty version of the coverage and someone's playing the non-empty version of the coverage. I don't. This is some last page of the playbook kind of stuff here.
Unless what they were doing is they were sitting hot because they're thinking it's empty. We're going to bring 6 and we're going to play eyes coverage and just match. But even if you do that, maybe they were betting that this guy doesn't release vertical. Because otherwise, if he just does this, he throws hot. Now, also, I will say it's 3rd and 11. I've just never seen a defensive call where, like, I've seen one of my favorite Aranda calls is where he lines up in one high. They run what does he call it? Where they get in this look, right? So 5-0, they bring the linebacker, they slant the nose, and then they drop these guys out in the hooks. These guys drop down and take the curl. Or no, I'm sorry, these guys that are down play the half, and then this middle guy plays Tampa. I've seen shit like that, and then the corners are out in the flat. But I've never seen double safety blitz, because these are their safeties. Double safety blitz with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left, tied in NFC Divisional game. Blitzing from 7 to 9 yards depth. I've never seen anything like this. He has 2 out of 3 open, and he throws to the guy that's double covered. I mean, this is on Rodgers. I mean, there's nothing about this that says throw this route. First of all, you have a compressed split to run a post, so you can't widen anybody's out. This is what I don't understand about this. If you're going to run this route, start your ass out here, so at least he has to break on the ball, right? You've got one threat to that side. Croc, you feel me on this, or am I missing something?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what they're doing. That's why I'm like, there must be a coverage buzz. Maybe the safeties got the call mixed up, and they both went.
No, but I mean, even the offensive play. Why would you line up tight in here unless you're going to run this post so you can sneak a guy over? Like, this is like the fish route. Like here, fishy, suck these 2 guys, right?
Well, he widened them first, though, right? So, I mean, it looks like he widened them just to get vertical. Nah, he really just kind of ran down the numbers. I don't know. Anyway, that's just wild. And that is where doing that is kill your ass. Anyway, all right. Croc, I got to ask you before I go. I know I've kept your ass here long. It's past your bedtime. I'm just kidding. I don't know that to be certain or not. How are you feeling about this coming week? It's tough. You know, high power offense, you know, with the Rams, and you know that Matthew Stafford can run it efficiently. You have to hope that, one, Matthew Stafford makes Matthew Stafford mistakes and throws you a couple picks. And then you also have to hope that Jimmy Garoppolo does not make Jimmy Garoppolo mistakes and is safe with the ball. So, obviously, the 49ers beat them twice in the regular season, so they can beat the Rams. I think the best thing the 49ers can do is make them one-dimensional. Stop the run game. I thought the Bucs had a tough time doing that early on. Akers was kind of doing as he pleases. I think you stop that, you make them one-dimensional. Stafford to kind of get a little shaky, kind of like what we just saw from Aaron Rodgers at the end of the game, where it looked like he started to have some brain farts.
Yeah, I mean, my question is this. We watched it, 4 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
What do the Rams do to block them? Because the first game was the Week 18 game or whatever was insane. I mean, they couldn't block them to save their lives. What do they do in that little time to fix it? Do they have anybody to come in?
Did they have Whitworth in that game?
They did.
Was he hurt?
He was getting his ass kicked.
Damn. Then yeah, they're in trouble.
That guard they had.
Ooh.
It was bad.
And
I put out a tweet after that. I was like, I just watched this shit. There's no way the Rams can win the Super Bowl with this line. Now, of course.
Yeah, 61 had a rough night.
49ers pass rush production has been pretty good the last half of the season. And I want to say, like, the last 3 games, they've had like 5 sacks in each game. Mm-hmm. So they're getting there. You know, especially as long as Nick Bosa stays out there. He missed the second half of the Cowboy game. But yeah, whatever D'Amico's doing, he's bringing some pressures, something he does not do. 49ers like blitz like the least amount of anybody in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, they've been doing some different stuff, but I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this. How sad do you think Bosa was sacking Rodgers? Do you think that hurt his heart? I mean, knowing that they both probably hang out in the same 4chan threads? I mean, do you think that
Yeah.
there was a little tear came down his eyes after the game?
Have you ever heard Nick Bosa talk?
Yeah.
He's like this. It's almost like he's an airhead. I don't even know if he's aware of anything that's going on anywhere. He's just kind of like in his own Nick Bosa world, and he's really good at football.
Mm-hmm. I think his brother's a little bit more articulate.
Yeah, Nick is just like you can ask him, "Hey Nick, did you notice that the sky is blue today?" And he'll respond like, "Yeah, I looked up and I thought I saw the sky being blue." Like he talks just like watch any interview of him. I'm like, man, this is interesting dude. He's so good at football.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Joe Biden is No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah. I'm excited to see the matchup only because we dug so deep into that last one. I don't know how much the Rams can cover for their deficiencies, or maybe, I don't know, maybe McVay was galaxy branding it, knowing that he was like, you know what, I'm not going to put anything on tape. I'm going to lull these guys into a false sense of security. Maybe I'm giving these guys too much credit. I don't know. But if I'm a Rams fan, I'm hoping that some crazy shit happened like that, because otherwise you're fucked. Anyway, I also get this random thought before we go. I get this question, what this is. Why is this thing here? What the fuck is this? Why do you have this? I always get that afterwards. So the reason that this is like a little eggshell thing, and so it keeps the sound. This is a tile room that we put a carpet down in, but it keeps it from echoing it, so it gives the effect of a sound booth. I know a lot of people are always like, why do you have that big screen behind your microphone? Nobody ever has that. That's what it is. Random thought. All right, well, Croc, we might have you back to do this again next week, depending on the if it was anything like the last game. They will definitely be back. We'll see what happens, and then
Yeah.
What about the other matchup? What are your thoughts on the other matchup?
Oh man, I just think it's a lot of pressure on the young Joe Burrow to kind of like lean on him to keep up with what we see from Kansas City. It's tough. I mean, what have y'all seen from the Bengals defense? Like, have you seen anything that's like, hey, this Bengals defense can give Kansas City offense a tough time?
No, because I don't study them very much. That's not something I think. I don't know. I want to see what the Chiefs' plan are to handle Chase.
Oh yeah, these teams did just play, and Chase put up like 300 receiving yards. I forgot about that.
The Chiefs sat almost everybody in the second half of that game.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. Yeah, the second half, you're like, who are these players? I don't even know any of these guys who are on the field.
Yeah.
But, like, the Bengals just gave up, 9 sacks? Like, the Chiefs have a good rush. Chris Jones, the guy they traded from Pittsburgh, the guy who played at South Carolina, Melvin Ingram. I mean, they got him for a ham sandwich, and he's a factor down the stretch on a team that's going to compete in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's a great trade there. I mean, Joe Burrow is awesome.
Frank Clark. I thought they were talking about Melvin Ingram.
Oh yeah. Melvin Ingram is who I was talking about, but Frank Clark.
I know, but I'm asking is Frank Clark.
Chris Jones.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm really bad I'm good after the game. You can ask me a bunch of questions and I can tell you what happened. But before the game, I'm like, I don't know. I know that, as BSE said, and is it Luke Longinati, by the way? Is that the name, BSE? If that rings a bell. They cannot give up 9 sacks. That is not a winning business model, especially with an explosive offense.
Throwing interceptions, though. You'd rather take a sack than throw a pick on a stupid ball.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think, and will the Honey Badger be back? That's another question.
So I have a question for y'all. All right. You see Joe Burrow, he gets sacked 9 times. He's been sacked more than anybody in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, their offense has still been able to be explosive. Mm-hmm. You see the production that they get from Chase, obviously. Also, T. Higgins, he had a terrific year. and Tyler Boyd. He's a terrific slot wide receiver 3. Do you think that the Bengals would potentially be in a better position if they were to say draft Sewell at 5 instead of Chase, and maybe pick up a receiver second round, still get production from him, maybe not Chase production, but still could be a 900 to 1,000 yard receiver while also having T. Higgins, who's came on strong, and Tyler Boyd?
I don't know. I mean, I just think, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that connection between Chase and Burrow is.
Yeah.
I think he's just.
He's getting pressured a lot. He's getting sacked a lot. Like
he's special.
That's
Chase
nine
is
times a
special.
lot.
I also don't think. I don't think Sewell would solve. I don't think that would solve all the problems. I think because then if you're the other team, you just put your best player on the other side, and then you still have the same problem. You know what I mean? You can only stop one guy.
Yeah. It doesn't solve the problem of having a bad O line. Now you just have one good O lineman, but you still have a bad O line. That's a tough question, especially because it's hard to answer that because of how good we know Chase is. You know, like it's hard to say, like, man, what a tackle.
Well, and Sewell, and also Sewell's in Detroit. So if Sewell gets drafted by the Niners and they're in the playoffs and he's playing opposite Trent Williams and they're dominating, you know, if the Niners don't draft Trey Lance and then, you know, that's hard to say, you know. I can say you this. If you ask me if they could have traded back and gotten 2 or 3 linemen, then that's a different discussion. But 1 for 1, I don't know, because Chase is a rookie, and as you know, rookie receiver, it usually takes a little bit for receivers to come along. I mean, he has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's rare to have a rookie be that good. And those other guys are good, but everybody knows. I mean, everybody knew that they were going to draft him. Everybody knew they were going to draft him. And they know coming out of the bus who he wants to throw to, and he still makes plays. So I don't know. I think if I'm the Bengals, I'm getting an empty because you can't block them anyway when you got 6 back there. So fuck it, getting empty, spread them out, and get the ball out fast. And I would go old school, Paul Brown, Bill Walsh when he was the OC, and I'd get the ball out fast as shit. And then prey on defense. Now, I don't think the Chiefs. I don't know if the Chiefs are good enough on the. I could be wrong. I'm saying I don't know. I'm not saying they're not. I don't know if they're good enough to handle playing. Because the thing about something like that is, how many empty checks do you really have? You simplify their defense. You get Spags out of a lot of his looks. Now, if he brings 6, because my whole thing is, if you're going to get your ass on, if you're going to be flat on your back anyway, right? So the problem is you don't want to go more than 7-man protection because then you start taking off your badass receivers. So I would try to 7-man protect off play action and take some shots. And if that ain't working, then fuck it. If I'm going to be on my back, I'm going to be on my back with 5 guys out and having more lotto tickets, a better chance of winning the raffle than I am protecting with 6 and still getting my face caved in. So, I don't know. I'm also bad at that shit. That's not my... I don't fucking know. Who knows? I mean, I would not bet against Pat Mahomes. That's my... I can't good... That's why when everybody said the Bills were going to win, and even all the signs pointed to it, I was like, I'm not picking against Mahomes. I'm not suicidal. I would honestly, and I know I'm real close with Kafka, the quarterback's coach of the Chiefs. So I want them to win because of him, but he's already won one. I'd love to see the city of Cincinnati do something like that. Do you know how lit Over the Rhine would be if they won a Super Bowl? I don't know.
They got to get the 49ers versus Bengals like back in the day. They got to get that Super Bowl going.
Nick Narayan is the guy, BSC, but there was another guy. It's Luke something. Sorry, we're talking about Palma fullbacks. We got a real niche thing going here. All right, guys, I'm going to call it here. It's been 3 hours and 24 minutes on air. Croc, thanks for being a good sport and hanging out. I hope you had fun. Ben, as always,
definitely.
great
I
time.
learned a lot.
I appreciate that, man. So did I, and I love having guys like you on because you can explain not only from a player's perspective, you know the scheme well enough, you know the players' eyes, and you know shit about the teams. So you're kind of all of us rolled into one, and that's really cool to have, and be able to give us some insight there. That's invaluable, and listen. I know these things go on forever, and I understand that people cannot be on here. I know you're a busy guy, but I appreciate you taking the time. I know you had to rearrange some things on your schedule, and that meant a lot to me. I'm finally glad we got to do something together. I've been bugging you for a while now. Like, dude, we got to do something together. I don't know what it is, but we got to do something together. So I appreciate you coming on. Shout out to the penguin blanket behind me. Ben, thank you as always. Oh, and by the way, quick plug. Well, Croc, I know a lot of people here probably see you, but shout out your Twitter handle and all that stuff real quick. And wherever we can find you. And you have a Patreon too, right? We're Patreon brothers.
Yeah, I haven't used it as much. I'm going to get back into it, though.
Okay.
Especially once draft season comes around, I'll start diving back into the Patreon. But, everybody, you can follow me on Twitter at Eric_Crocker. And from there, I have like one of those link tree things. And everywhere I'm at, my YouTube, my, like Patreon, my website, like all that stuff is on that link tree. So if you follow me on Twitter at Eric_Crocker, I'm in there.
Absolutely. And I am at Coach Vass and the Make Defense Great Again podcast. We'll be back. We recorded an episode with Kyle Kogan. The plug I was going to make was for Ben is going to be on Patreon on Monday. This is some top secret shit now. Now that Ben is no longer employed with Colorado State, he is going to let some of the secrets fly about how they defended the triple option.
Yeah, so, we're going to talk about the flex bone a little bit.
We're going to talk about defending the flex bone on Monday night at 8 Eastern. We lock that in? We good with that? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, no, that works.
You good, motherfucker? No, I'm kidding.
I ain't got no job.
You better be there on Monday night. We usually do it on Sundays, but obviously it's the championship weekend. I'm not stupid. So we're going to go 8 Eastern. We're about defending the flex bone. Croc, you coaching high school ball still?
Nuh-uh.
Okay, never mind. Well, if you want an invite for coming on here, if there's anything I can do for you, obviously, please let me know. I would love to help you. If you want to come hang out, we're going to be talking about defending the flex bone on Monday night. This Thursday night, I'm having the current newly minted Reedley Junior College offensive coordinator, Rich Hammond, former Clovis and Gilroy head coach, my old boss and roommate, will be on Patreon, patreon.com/Coach Vass for silver and gold and higher tiers. We're going to be talking this year. We're going to have an offensive guy and a defensive guy. But don't worry, kids, I've not gotten soft. The offensive guys will still talk from a defense or towards a defensive perspective. So how they attack, it's not going to be like, here's shallow and here's mesh. And here it's going to be attacking defenses, what gives you protection problems, what you love to see, what doesn't give problems, whatever you want. If you're a member, you know how to do it. Just go in the Discord channel. The Q&A webinar channel is there. Put your question in there for Rich. Rich is one of the best. I picked up my life, my life that I loved in the Bay Area and moved to the butthole of America, Fresno. Sorry, but it is. To go be with him. So, I love him to death. We're going to have a good time. Join us next Tuesday night. We'll kind of feel it out. Maybe go Wednesday night too and do if both games are good defensively, but we'll pick a game and we'll roll from there. Boys, thank you so much for your time. Have a good night, and I will see you guys later. And don't forget, the quarterback can't see with tears in their eyes. Bye.
All right, y'all.